unbeatable. Performance no score. Every time they wanna clash, the winners kicking through the door. I am unbeatable. Chances running out of stock. And we're running out the clock. My fail ones never stop. I am unbeatable. I am unbeatable. I am unbeatable, yeah. I am unbeatable. I am unbeatable, yeah. I am unbeatable. I am unbeatable, yeah. I am unbeatable. I am unbeatable, yeah.
Hello, happy holidays and welcome to the British Basketball League live on Sky Sports and across the USA. What a compelling game we have for you tonight as the Bristol Flyers travel to the Sheffield Sharks. This is a fixture that perfectly encapsulates the essence of why we love sport. What truly captures the imagination is the unpredictable, the mercurial, the volatile. You see, the last time these two met, well, it was absolutely bonkers.
The Bristol Flyers taking on the Sheffield Sharks, and I hope this game isn't like that tip-off. And the Sheffield Sharks applying pressure,
trying to blow the game wide open.
See the Bristol Flyers fan there, slowly closing his eyes, and we feel you. We feel the pain. Smith, and on the baseline, oh my goodness, Trajan Jacob lighting it up. Leslie Smith comes up big. The jacket comes off for a team of Lions. Off the glass and in for three, Hail Mary. Take a deep breath. Here's Tevin Olison downhill. He's got a good look here. He's tied the game. That is the end of the game. It's all tied up. Jacob under pressure. Ice in his boots. What a redemption there. A shot goes up and is blocked. The Bristol Flyers snatch the win.
Well, that was about 3 weeks ago, and I wonder if Sharks head coach Atiba Lyons has calmed down since then. They followed that up with a loss at home to the Cheshire Phoenix, and that won't have helped. And now they're on a 2-game losing streak. Prior to that, they'd won 5 out of 6. Inconsistency described the Sharks last season, and they need to be more reliable and dependable as we build up to the playoffs this season. The Flyers, a bit flighty too at the minute, hammered at home by Manchester Giants last week, snapped a 2-game winning streak, and out of 20 games this term, they've won 10 and are sat 5th in the league. They do have the firepower to dazzle on the floor. They won 6 out of 6 in October, but they also have the capacity to continually capitulate against teams below them in the league. Coach Kapoulis must be pulling his hair out. Well, who would be a coach? Not these two. I'm joined by a couple of international superstars, as well as playing at the highest level across Europe. Both Ovi Soko and Dwayne Lortie-Ogunleye are GB teammates playing against some of the best ballers in the world. And Ovi, in these two teams we're going to see tonight, inconsistency seems to be the main thread for both of them.
Yeah, they've struggled for consistency all season long, but if you look at both of their rosters and lineups, there's been a lot of change going on. You know, the Sheffield Sharks, they've had old guys rejoining, and they've got a lot of new pieces, And then the Bristol Flyers, they've had some big injuries, which has obviously forced Coach K to sort of switch things around. So, yeah, there's been inconsistency, and both teams will be looking to get a W tonight.
Yeah, it's going to be a tough one to see how they both go. But, Dilo, you've played at the Flyers previously, and I guess someone like Coach Kapoulis, or Coach Andreas, as you call him, he's well within his rights to get a bit angry, a bit upset about things.
Of course, having played for him, for those of you at home that don't know, he's very hands-on. He takes care of the game plan, the scout, almost everything. So as a coach, when you want the guys to play a certain way and they aren't able to pull together, it's justifiable to get a little bit mad.
Absolutely. So we shall see who keeps their cool tonight. Sheffield Sharks starting 5, Ovi. Talk us through it. Any surprises, any shocks, anything we should be looking out for here?
I think there's no surprises here. This is the team that's sort of started for these guys for most of the season. Ramsey and Pipkins, the head of the snake, the dynamic duo. And then you got Ratino and Nichols, both forward spots, interchangeable guys. And then the big man in the middle, Koch, sort of the anchor for the team.
Absolutely. And for you, Dilo, you've got the starters for Bristol. What are we looking at for here?
So a little bit different with Tevin Olison hurt. So you actually have Corey Samuels, the Bristol product, starting in. His backcourt teammate was CJ Jackson. 2 England junior international in Roel Graham and Thomas Edwards. And then the big bad green machine at centre.
Okay, fantastic. 2 amazing starting 5s. How are they going to get on tonight? Well, someone whose consistency we can always rely on is Drew Lasker. He's about to tell us a shark tale.
No one entertains us more than Jalen Pipkins out of Paris. And no, not that one. I'm talking about Texas, baby. He's a high flyer, and his talent just jumps off the screen. but he has substance to his game as well. He loves to get to this little mid-range area for his pull-ups and his floaters. But let's take a look at his backcourt mate. Right down here, number 0, Deverl Ramsey out of Sierra Canyon. He's been running the show all season long and setting a tone for this Sharks' #1 defense. His brother always told him to stay aggressive, so you can expect him to test out Tejon Lucas's hamstring with consistent full-court ball pressure all night long.
I'm sure Drew always focuses on his Texans, you know. Like, I feel like that's a thing for him. But, you know, Jalen Pipkins is a real fan favourite, and there's a reason for that, isn't there, Ovi?
Yeah, I mean, he's continued to become a fan favourite as the season's progressed. And this is something I wasn't quite sure if he could do consistently. Knock down the 3-ball. But because he's such an athlete, such a great player getting downhill, that allows him to get to what he loves, and that's the mid-range pull-up, which you've just seen him knock down over there. I feel like because we've seen him make highlight plays, a lot of the time guys try to stop him from getting to the rim, but he's developed that sweet mid-range jumper that allows him to in turn do things like this, be a high flyer, be an athlete, and do, I think, what he just does naturally.
Yeah, and Coach Lyons said, you know, he's got electric energy, you know, big man for the occasion. That's what we're going to see tonight, perhaps?
I would not be surprised if we see 1 or 2 highlight plays from this young man.
Yeah, it should be good. Deverl Ramsey seems to be dovetailing him as well, though. And this is a player, again, but he's making better decisions. That's what Coach Lyons says. Better decisions, growing in his role here, D'Lo.
Well, he's confident. Again, in his second season. And as each game has gone on, he's kind of grown and his presence has almost felt a bit more. He's a very good lead guard, but he does a little bit of everything. He's 3rd in the team in scoring, 2nd in the team in rebounding, and 1st in the team in assists. But as a lead guard, I would know he wants to probe, he wants to attack, he wants to make 2 defenders play 1, and he does that. He loves a little stop and pop. He loves to play without the ball, have a nice little soft touch with the floater, and people have been challenging him in the league, and he said, if you leave me open, I will knock down the 3 and I'll make you pay for it.
Yeah, they're going to be huge for tonight's game, so should we see how they will get on. But let's shut up shop on the Sheffield Sharks. Next, we're airborne, thanks to the flying squad. Welcome back to the British Basketball League live on Sky Sports and across the USA. Tonight's game features the Bristol Flyers on the road at the Sheffield Sharks. And now it's time to go courtside. Drew's paying a flying visit. He's trying to stay out of the Bristol channels.
Health is high on the Christmas list, and Santa has delivered. Tejon Lucas back to the fold. Would have the Flyers missed his leadership, his pace with the basketball, and ability to create from himself and others. And the happiest man in the building will be Brad Green. Right here on the opposite side, number 55 there. He can expect to receive the ball early and often, and he's the team's safety blanket when nothing isn't working. And when the Flyers miss, you can expect all 6'11" of him and his compadres attacking the offensive glass. That's why they're number one in that category.
Ooh. Well, from Tijon to Trajan, let's be honest, it's his second stint at the Flyers. Got something to prove, hasn't he? How does he improve this game, D'Lo?
He improves his game by just taking care of everything from different facets. In his first stint with the Flyers, he was more of a 3-and-D guy. And even though this is bread and butter and what he wants to do primarily, he's really developed his game into adding different things. He's 6'5", he's lefty, he's really a modern-day swingman. And with Ollison out, he's been a lot more assertive and tried to be an alpha in the sense, I'm going to put the team on my back, I'm going to take us, and I'm going to try and win us these games. He's sneaky athletic, something that you're not really expecting, but he's very nimble and very easily finishes around the rim.
How do you defend someone like that?
Oh, you can't. You just have to pick your poison and live by it.
But with Brad Green, though, Ovi, you know what you're going to get with someone like him, don't you? He does it so well.
Yeah, Mr. Consistency. He's the anchor in the middle. You know, you speak about the classic big man, and he is your prototype. Leads the league in rebounds, and you know he does old school big man stuff. Here you see him screening and rolling, getting deep position, finishing with his left, and then on this possession taking his defender to the cup, finishing with his right. Soft touch on both hands. You love to see it. And then here you see him being the anchor, like I was alluding to, and like Drew alluded to, being a pain on the defensive end. Really sort of being their last line of defense. With a team that is so guard heavy, it's so crucial for those guys to have a big man like Green that can shut down the middle like this and finish with a rebound. Looking forward to a big game from Green tonight.
Yeah, Brad Green. Big Brad Green, as we call him. But that's enough from these two for the time being. Let's hear it from a couple of coaches under pressure. They've been speaking to Drew.
Well, defensively, we're still tops of the league, in the top, whatever it is now. So it's always defense as our staple. I think we're still trying to find our footing. It's been one of those weird years as a coach, recruiting-wise, injuries, guys coming back that are known quantities but not quite where they used to be. So it's a juggling act, and we're still learning each other.
You insert guys into the roster, then they're out or someone else is out, and that's kind of cutting and changing a little bit. But it's part of the game. You've got to be able to adjust, and you've got to be able to move forward. But certainly hasn't been easy.
Just got to match the intensity. You know, they're a very physical team, really get after the offensive boards, really push in transition. Just got to match their intensity.
They're a team that they really impose the rhythm of the game. We've got to speed it up. We've got to defend well. We've got to control the boards.
Thanks for your time, Coach.
Thank you.
Interestingly, for both of these, it's their last time they meet together in the regular season. It's going to be one for pride, I think, for sure, Ovi. Who have you got for tonight?
I got Sheffield. They're at home. They're a defensive team. I feel like, you know, a couple days before Christmas, they're going to want to go to Christmas on a good note. And they've got guys that I think can match the energy of the Bristol Flyers. So, yeah, I got the home side.
And for yourself, D'Lo?
I'm actually going the other way. Ovi would know playing the game. This is almost like a trap game. A few days before Christmas, guys kind of look forward to Christmas break, having a couple of days off. And Sheffield at home, you're comfortable. I think Bristol come here and steal it.
Okay, well, either side for our pundits in the studio tonight. I wonder what our comms team think. But tip off on the back of this in the company of Todd Harris and Azania Stewart.
we welcome you inside the Cannon Medical Arena for this pre-Christmas get-together between the Sharks and the Flyers. Todd Harris alongside the former London Lion, Azania Stewart. This is a big game. Both these teams muddled right in the middle of the standings right now, 5th and 6th respectively. How do they get it done?
Yeah, and they're playing for the 4th time, so they know each other well. We saw in the lead up to this the tip of how it's been up and down for both teams. They're struggling in different areas, but you know, it's a new day, a new game, and you just come out and play hard. But lovely crowd here in Sheffield, and it's going to be a good game.
We'll see if head coach Atiba Lions or head coach Andreas Kapoulas, two of the best and most tenured coaches in the league. Atiba Lions in his 16th year and Coach Kapoulas in his 17th year. So the Flyers dressed in their white uniforms on the road, taking on the Sheffield Sharks in their dark homes. Good crowd, as you mentioned. A lot of folks getting a little ball in before the Christmas season. What do the Flyers need to do? They've been notorious for bad starts. How do they get off to a better start and not dig a hole?
Well, you know, they talked about, well, that one there is Brad Green. That will help him. Obviously, he's averaging a double-double, leading in rebound. But for me, I just think locking it up on the defensive end. You know, they probably need to change a few things up. They've got to stop Pipkins. They can't let Ramsey get in rhythm either.
Pipkins with a nice entry pass with Bennett Cook not able to finish. So back come the Flyers. Will be interested to see if they try to give this thing a bit of a run. They're very good in transition, open court. Sheffield struggles with that at times, but man, the talent level that the Flyers have when they're on, it's a solid squad. Underneath, big man, and why not go back to him? Brad Green picking it up, just too easy for him that close.
Yeah, back to back, and you know, they lost against Manchester 103 to 80. It was a huge L, but Brad Green 15 points and 13 rebounds. Ovi said he's Mr. Consistency, and oh boy, he is.
Yeah, Bristol Flyers will do it tonight without Tevin Olsen, they've talked about, and the Sharks are on the board. Bristol now working the ball around, going through their offensive set. Everything now seems to be going through Brad Green. There he was on the pick and roll. Ovi diagrammed that in the pre-show. Nice little fall back there. Unable to drop it for Corey Samuels. And they're going to call the travel. Too many steps for Rafael Thomas Edwards. So Wreck-It Ralph with the turnover, and back goes Sheffield.
You know, I love to call him Wreck-It Ralph.
Not sure he loves it yet, but it's just a great name.
He came into the studio. He worked as a color commentator a couple of weeks ago, and I said, hey, I had to apologize. I called you Wreck-It Ralph, and he just laughed it off. But, yeah, works hard, and obviously that was a turnover with the travel, but the rebounding effort, he's going to fly in there, and that's what Sheffield's going to need to do. They're going to have to win the battle of the boards. And, you know, Coach talks about it at the pregame. He's talking about speeding up the game and try and slow them on the boards.
Sharks really running with that guard duo of Javerl Ramsey and Jalen Pipkins. Last time these teams played, deep range three coming, and that one's hard off the heel. Last time these two teams played, Ramsey and Pipkins only combined for 14 points. Whereas in Tevin Olsen and Jacob, they combined for 38 points. So the guard backcourt of the Flyers certainly dominated that last meeting.
Well, I love those two comparisons. You know, these two sets of guards are a big factor in both these teams. Especially Pipkins. I've loved how he's played, even when they've gone, you know, up and down throughout this season. I feel like he has been key. We spoke about his highlight plays, and just, you know, doing more for this team.
Bennett Cook now kicking to the outside, finds a wide open. Nichols can't finish it, but it stays with them. So a fresh 14 seconds on the shot clock, drive and the kick. And they're going to say it's off the last touch by the Sharks. I want to remind you, the officials tonight, Simon Unsworth, Jean-Paul Heron, and Kate Unsworth. And no surprise there, Simon and Kate, brother and sister-in-law.
Yeah, I love that.
Have not seen that happen before. Yeah, family affair in this industry. Deep range three off the mark.
And the ref's letting them play.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
Oh, wow. Bennett Cook got great position down there, wanted the foul, didn't get it, and back come the Flyers. Cross-court pass, skip wide open. That's an awkward-looking shot, but Corey Samuels makes it work. Samuels buries his first bucket of the night.
It doesn't matter how it looks, Todd, as long as it goes in.
7-2, 7-4 make that. Oof. "7-2 ball games, just coming up on 6 minutes to play here in the first period. If you're new to the British Basketball League, 4 10-minute periods. Each player allowed 5 personal fouls. And again, Samuels tries another one, can't get that one to fall this time, so it remains a 5-point lead. And the foul committed on Deverl Ramsey. He had a whole head of steam there, and the product out of Los Angeles, California, and UC Santa Barbara was on his way to the rack.
And that's what he's so good, Ramsey, when he gets that full speed ahead. Here, look, nice little skip dribble to get himself going. The only way you can stop him is foul. And they will set up from the sideline.
Probably a smart fall for Samuels because it really was not a lot of defense around the cup, and so it would have been an easy layup for Ramsey as Sheffield's trying to generate some kind of offense. Xenia, in your days of playing, when your team was struggling offensively, was there one player, was there an attitude of let's get into the paint to the big, let's get to the line? How do you break that stalemate?
Well, I always like to, as a former post player, always, you know, establish your post play, which I think Sheffield do very well. They always go to Cook. If he hits that jump shot, they find Cook down low and get him going. He hasn't been hot, but also the Flyers find Green early.
Sure.
When you establish the post play, now you can kick it out to shooters, get wide open shots. So I always say go through the post first.
And they're going to call a foul before the shot on Bennett Cook. Cook thought he has held his ground, a product out of Northern Iowa and Green Bay, Wisconsin, coming off a 15.9 rebound performance against Bristol in their last game.
Well, I'm a post player, so I'm always going to say put the ball in the post, aren't I? I don't know if guards or point guards are going to think that, but you know what? Cook has been struggling these last couple of games, picking up early fouls and having to just kind of, you know, when you pick up those early fouls and you have to sit, you lose your rhythm of the game.
Coach Lyons having to go to the bench early with Cook going out. Marcus Delpeche, number 21, checks in for the Sharks. They trail 7-4, inside cut, and the foul there, and that could have been somewhat of a highlight dunk as Tejon Lucas, who's checked into the game and back into the rotation. They're glad to have him back. We saw Drew Lasker's report in the pregame. He brings a lot, leadership, Lucas.
Yep. And is just knows how to get it done. Can score in many ways.
Lucas battling a hamstring injury, fires off there, off the back foot, can't get it to fall. Looked like Green was going to happen momentarily. Here come the Sharks with an opportunity to tie or cut it to 1.
Good defense from Bristol.
So it remains 7-4 as we go under 5 minutes to play.
Quite a low-scoring game so far, right?
Who does that favor? Bristol or Sheffield? What do you think?
I think it could Bristol, actually. Yeah.
I feel like Bristol's a bit of a chameleon team. Lucas from deep range can't hit that one, so he's 0 for 2. Got to take a little while to work out the rust. I feel like Bristol's a little bit of a chameleon team.
Yeah,
they can play fast up tempo if you want, but they can also slow it.
As soon as I said Bristol, I thought, oh, actually, they do love an up-tempo team, and you know, could. And then he turned over here. I think actually Sheffield.
Shot clock at 6. Oh, deep range, and that'll help the cause. Beautiful shot from Kipper Nichols, young man out of Cleveland, Ohio, by way of the University of Illinois, and we are all evened up at 7. It's the Flyers, it's the Sharks, it's pre-Christmas basketball love. 4:23 to play in the first quarter here. We are all even up from Cannon Medical Arena, 7-7. As the Sheffield Sharks are down 7-2. A pair of nice three-pointers. Plus, we got more basketball in the league tonight. Also, Surrey and Plymouth doing battle. 22-21 one-point game with Plymouth City on top. Keep you abreast of that game as well as we bring you back to the Cannon Medical Arena. Todd Harris and Xenia Stewart, glad to have you with us on a Friday night on Sky Sports British Basketball League, pre-Christmas edition. Trajan Jacob now checking in, and Xenia, when he comes in, he's so athletic, so talented. How does he change their offense? How does he change their flow?
And it's just also his body type for me. Like you said, fast, athletic, likes the little mid-range, can get to the rim. True scorer.
That shot off the mark from Prentice Nixon, who's also checked in for head coach at Atiba Lions. Talked about the well-tenured coaches for both of these squads, 17 and 16 years respectively. Deep range three, not there.
But I really like both of these coaches. I have so much respect, and great guys off and on the court. Constantly coaching. They're like the sixth man as that foul happens. You can see there's Coach Lyons. He's always right there pointing. And then if you go to Coach Kapoulis, he's pacing up and down, pointing. He calls the plays. He calls the defenses. So both of these coaches always involved, and you'll hardly see them sitting down.
How long does Coach Lyons' jacket stay on?
Oh, I've got to ask our other friend to hear because he knows about that. As soon as he starts to get upset and, the heat starts to go up,
gone.
The jacket's gone.
Beautiful stroke there from Jordan Ratinho, the 6'5" forward guard out of Castro Valley, California, by way of the University of San Francisco. And he gives Sheffield their first lead of the night as they go up 10-7. Trailing 7-2 early on in the first period, and they've stormed back. So once again, Bristol finds themselves playing in a catch-up situation. As Tejon Lucas looking for an outlet there, gets to the inside. Beautiful turnaround and nice give for Roll Graham Bell.
Really lovely move. Just that turn away, shook the defense up, and now still.
Oh boy, get ready. Christmas presents delivered.
That's what we spoke about. What he brings comes right off the bench. The injection of energy needed.
That's a stocking stuffer right there.
Oh, yeah.
Don't you think?
Yeah. Have you been good? Are you on Santa's top of the list?
I'm on the fringe. I think I'm on the fringe this year.
Okay.
Trajan Jacob giving the Bristol fans certainly something to be happy about. Beautiful defense from behind. Back-to-back highlight plays coming from Trajan Jacob. How about that defense not giving up on the play?
Perfect. He didn't know he was behind him. Del Pesh couldn't feel Jacob. Look at this. This was his steal. Out in the open.
Wouldn't we all like to...
And here's his defense. Look, Del Pesh has no idea. He smacks it on the board.
And you could say he was out of position on defense, but he didn't give up on the play.
Absolutely. Great 2 possessions in a row.
Roll Graham Bell will take a seat for head coach Andreas Kapoulis. Remember, the Bristol Flyers coming in this game even at Mount 500 at 10-10. Shot clock about to expires. They had to get that one off. They currently sit in 5th place in the league overall. The Sharks sitting just behind them in 9th.
I think it's such a good time in the league right now. We've had so many up and downs. We've had Caledonia move. Smith shoots the 3. They've moved up to 2nd, Todd. It's been a really great couple of weeks.
Yeah. Leslie Smith missing on that 3, the 6'8" forward from Tortola, British Virgin Islands, by way of the University of Nebraska. He was a big story in the last time these teams played. Came up with 13 points, 11 rebounds coming off the bench.
Oh, he's been playing incredible. Yeah. Honestly, has been really good on both ends. We've seen him block shots. We've seen him make moves, drive. Really worked on his game in the offseason, and is a big factor for us.
Prentice Nixon now running the offense for the Sharks, and that's beautiful. Step up, found his shot, deep and sack. Dalbazanian just drills the 3.
When he has his feet set, dangerous.
Back and forth they go after a slow start. The scoring starting to pick up here just a bit. Deep range 3, that's going to be off the right-hand side, and back come the Sharks with Prentice looking to make the outlet pass, decides to pull up, and he hands it off to Rodney Glasgow Jr. checked in. Like Nichols was thinking about Glass, last second didn't go Glass, big battle underneath, and even bigger rebound by Leslie Smith. Oof. That's lethal.
Yeah,
Foul before the drive. Trajan Jacob, quite a story. Came off a 20-point performance last time these teams met. That's just a handful for any guard, especially for Prentice Nixon. 6'5" versus 6'2". Jacob out of Florida International University by way of Shreveport. Florida.
Yeah.
That's your
That's
former
my side of
Gator
town.
stomping ground.
Yeah. I'm going to say Florida. They appreciate that.
Shot clock at 5. Up amidst the tall trees. Can't get it to fall as Lucas. They stay with it. And Lucas out of bounds. And it'll turn over with 32.5 seconds left in the first.
Yeah. And Smith not happy with himself there. Doing the work on the boards. Got to take his time.
A little backcourt pressure now coming from the Flyers, trying to slow down the Sharks before they get in their offensive possession. You see the shot and game clock separated by about 9 seconds. Nice crossover. Boom.
Beautiful.
RG Jr.
Yeah, finally coming it back into his own. Struggled with a few injuries and is back.
I can't believe Rodney Glasgow's been with the Sharks for a long time. Just forever, it seems like. Lucas trying to get around Nixon. And that shot coming after would have been beautiful had it counted, but not the case. We got a good one here at the Cannon Medical Arena. Flyers and Sharks, second period when we return on Sky. British Basketball League on Sky Sports. 4-point lead for the homestanding Sheffield Sharks, trying to get their 10th win of the season as they welcome in the Bristol Flyers. As we start the second period of play here from Sheffield. Bristol started out with a nice 5-point lead, and then they saw that evaporate. That one high off the glass coming by way of Trajan Jacob, and back come the Sharks. All right, if you're Andreas Kapoulas, Azania Stewart, what are you telling your team? How do they get back to where they were playing early in the first?
I don't think they need to panic. There's a lot of basketball to be played. I do think they need to concentrate, especially on the offensive end. Just finishing little bunnies, I would call them, layups around the rim.
Great interior defense there as Routinho had a nice bounce pass, went nowhere, so back come the Flyers trying to cut this down to a possible 2-point game if they can hit a bucket, but the shot clock now winding down quickly. See how long it took them to get in their offensive set. Entry pass knocked out of bounds, and now that leaves them just 3 seconds. 3 seconds on the shot. Sheffield up by 4. Coach Kapoulis in his 17th season as the head man for the Bristol Flyers. Inside, and there's going to be a foul. And that's a bail. Wow.
Yeah.
Jordan Ratinho on the foul.
Yeah, that's disappointing because they had 3 seconds, like you said, and then the shot clock's going to reset to 14. But here, it's the right call. Look, all over Thomas Edwards, both hands, really. So the shot clock will reset to 14, so they don't have to rush.
Getting the excess moisture off the court. And we'll be back under play here. Coach Kapoulis saying, what do I need to do to get a pre-Christmas win? CJ Jackson now running the point for the Flyers. Shot clock again in 3. Deep range 3, and you gotta be kidding me. It's gonna be a 4-point play the old-fashioned way.
Again, discipline. You've got to be disciplined on the 3-point shot. Look, runs, it's the right call, in my opinion. Look, he high-fives his shooting hand. Look.
You know what that was?
What?
That was a Jordan Taylor overtime game-pushing wannabe.
We know about that.
JT in back-to-back weeks.
I know. He's in the studio today. He's on the other game, the Surrey-Plymouth game. And he's been playing incredible.
Yeah.
Got to give him a shout out, don't we?
Absolutely. And it leads me to this talking point with 8:50 to play here in the first half, 1-point ball game. The British Basketball League is announcing the launch of the league's first Hall of Fame. How excited are you about that?
Oh,
because
I
think your name's going to be
No.
Come on.
I haven't played here long enough.
I'll vote for you.
Okay.
No, we're excited. All kidding aside, the first inductees in the Hall of Fame are set to be announced alongside the return of the highly anticipated All-Star Game, which is coming up at the Copper Box on Sunday, March 17th, 2024. Men's players, women's players, coaches, officials, they're all eligible, which I think is a great thing. Celebrate greatness.
Yeah, do we count as an all-star? Do we get to go to that?
Yeah, I'm not even thinking making the alternate list. Just happy to be here. 8:34, that ball knocked out of bounds. It'll stay with the Sharks. Atiba Lions is starting to...
Yeah, just getting a warning. I think this is when the button gets undone. Maybe the jacket.
He's letting Kate Unsworth know he was not happy with that. So it stays with Sheffield. They'll have 9 seconds on the shot clock. Ver Ramsey will inbound it.
Still talking.
Yeah.
She's giving him a warning.
Shot clock at 5. Pull up almost the top of the key, and well done, well executed. Jalen Pipkins. There's a guy, as Drew Lasker said in the pregame, do not let him get warmed up because this guy is like a microwave.
Yep. Real hot.
Real hot,
but
real quick.
He loves to get to that spot. He also spoke about, that 15-foot is automatic when he can get there.
On the drive and the glass, the kiss doesn't go, and there's going to be a foul. It's like a foul away, and Bennett Cook, is he going to pick up another one? I'm surprised the Flyers have gotten away from double 5. Big Brad Green.
Yeah.
Not on the court right now, but man, he was their go-to guy scoring the first 2 buckets.
Let's have a look here.
Yeah. On the push on Leslie Smith.
Yeah, and he's going to have to go out. So
Bennett
he's
Cook
picked up that second one, and that's what I'm talking about. Sorry, Cook.
Why not? Why not? When you're feeling it like that, let it fly, Trajan Jacob.
Yeah, 9 points and done it every different way.
Well, the good news for the Sharks, that is just one half of the two-headed dragon, because the last time these teams played, Tevin Olsen and Trajan Jacob went off for a combined 38 points, 9 rebounds, 4 steals, and 5 assists. Now, Tevin Olsen not playing tonight because of injury, but wow.
Yeah, well, timeout has been called.
Bristol back in front by 1, 7:45 to play in the first half, and Atiba Lions not happy.
Yeah, and I think this is an important pivotal moment in the game. Still a lot of time to be called, so it's interesting that, it's only a 1-point game, but you can see Coach Lyons getting riled up. I don't think it will be long until that lovely jacket starts to come off. But for me, Cook picking up that second foul is huge. That's their big man. You know, I haven't seen Adekoya come in today, so I'm not too sure what's going on with him either. But you can feel the momentum with Bristol, but still, it's too close to call. And we've seen through the other couple of games that they've played, this always goes down to the wire.
If you are head coach Andreas Kapoulis, is now the time to bring Brad Green in, knowing that Cook is on the bench and he's their one big man that's 6'10"?
Listen, I bring him in anytime you need him. He's only played 6.5 minutes. He's 4 points. He's 2 from 2 from the floor.
All right, with 7:45 to play before the half, let's check in courtside with Drew Lasker.
Yeah, Todd, I'm trying to contain myself because in 3 days is my favorite time of the year. But Azania and the guys in a studio as well knows how tough a time this is for the foreigners. 42% of the British Basketball League consists of Americans and Canadians. And if you add in the Europeans, that's about half of the league that'll be out of the country for the Christmas holidays. I remember my rookie year in 05, not really being able to get in the Christmas spirit because I knew I would spend it alone. But luckily, the Moon family took me in, which meant the world for me. I caught up with Sheffield Sharks' Deverl Ramsey, who's from Los Angeles, and he says he anticipates Christmas Day being extremely tough as this is his first time away from his family. But on the other side, for the Bristol Flyers with Brad Green, this is his third rodeo, and he says it gets easier over time. And he has his family coming over from California. But for all the rookies out there, this is a formal invite. Todd and Azania Stewart are opening up their homes to anyone that's stuck.
Absolutely.
Wow.
Drew Lasker's going to pick up the catering tab.
Yep.
That's fantastic. You know, a win would be probably the best gift they can give themselves.
Yeah, but I think that's a great point. It is tough. You know, you sacrifice a lot being a professional athlete. You miss birthdays, weddings, births, and Christmas. And so as time goes on, I think that's a great point, Brad Green. You are able, as you start to make a bit more money, bring over your family for Christmas. I know the Lions have to go. They're in Paris.
They're flying out. I think Jordan Taylor said they were flying out Christmas Day.
Yeah, they're going to be on the road. So it is tough. But you just try and
it's part of, as you said, being a professional athlete.
Yeah.
And by the way, Drew Lasker looking sharp. He cracked out the Christmas apparel, didn't he?
Yeah, he did. With a little red tie.
I'm feeling he's always on the good list. Yeah. Deep range three, that got nothing but clear Sheffield air. So we'll stay at 2017. Flyers on top by 3. They've been up and down throughout this game. If you're just joining us, Flyers raced out to a 7-2 lead. Then back came Sheffield. And head coach Atiba Lyons does not want to see his Sharks give up a big lead. They've had a propensity to maybe get out front and then give it away. He does not want that anymore. Otherwise, that jacket is going to be thrown down.
Yeah, well, I think you just need to stay locked in. You know, it's a 40-minute game. You can't get complacent. If anyone knows, it's Sheffield Sharks that you can't lose concentration because Bristol can come back whenever they want.
Atiba Lyons has been issued a technical foul, so I guess there's that point. Usually you say the word or the refs just get tired of hearing from you. Simon Unsworth, John Paul Heron, and Kate Unsworth, they had enough, and they said, Atiba, this one's for you.
Yeah, and you know, she warned them a couple of minutes ago.
There is the aforementioned Kate Unsworth working for their brother-in-law, Simon Unsworth.
Yeah.
Doing a great job.
Unsworth brothers, they're twins, aren't they?
You know, Phil Jackson, when he was with the Bulls and the Lakers, I think he made an art of working the officials early. Because he always felt like, I'll get the calls late.
Okay.
At least that's what everyone thought.
Yeah, but you get annoying sometimes.
Absolutely. Oh, and the and one. Well played by Deverl Ramsey.
Really lovely job by him on the left-hand side. Here we go. That little fake. Thought the screen made the defender think a screen was going to come. Made him change his feet and then bang, drove to the rim.
CJ Jackson was looking for a little help on the weak side. Didn't come. It's worth noting Deverl Ramsey and Jalen Pipkins, the last time they played, as we mentioned, did not have their best performance combined, just for 14 points. Meanwhile, the backcourt of the Flyers combining for 38. Without Ollison there, is this a game, do you think, that Ramsey and Pipkins can basically take over in the second half?
Yeah, they can. And, you know, and they are so quick. They're so fast. Areas 4 points, 3 rebounds. That make it 5 points. As long as they get to their spots, they're okay. But they've got to deal with the Brad Green, Thomas Edwards hitting the boards. They've got to manage those.
Brad Green has checked into the game for the Flyers and Coach Kapoulis. Meanwhile, Bennett Cook, the big man for the Sharks, he's on the bench, saddled with 2 fouls. On the drive, and not a three-point opportunity as Rafael Thomas Edwards fouled. He'll go to the line to shoot two, where he's a 78% free throw shooter. So we've got ourselves a one-point game, 6:12 to play in the first half. This game has kind of been up and down, to say the least, and no one's really found that consistent rhythm.
No, but I like this strong move from Thomas Edwards. Froze those bows for sure to try and get some space. And, you know, he's a big part of this team, captain of the team, as he was away last year in Germany, was an assistant coach. And now back this year, he said, you know, he wants to learn multiple facets of the game, not only a player, but behind the scenes. Yeah. You know, Bristol Flyers have a great podcast. So he's been doing a lot.
He's 30 years of age, the 78% free throw shooter, unable to convert on that second one, so we remain a 2-point Flyer lead. And the Flyers will keep the ball now with 14 seconds on the shot clock, so a big opportunity here to possibly push it to 4, maybe 5 if they connect on a 3. Coach Kapoulis. Jeanette talked about both these coaches pulling their hair out last time they played, and Coach Kapoulis staying pretty calm right now.
Yeah, I think so.
As you said, though, a lot of ball to play.
Yeah.
Inside, Big Brad Green. That pass partially deflected, so a great job at defending the interior pass.
But I didn't like that pass. It's too high. It's too easy to steal.
Oh, look in the backcourt. Jordan Ratinho was looking for that back cut. Couldn't get it to him, but kept his eyes up, did Kipper Nichols. Shot clock at 12. Coach Kapoulis talking to the players on the bench, saying, when you get in there, this is what I need you to do. Kind of a loose pass there, and it goes the way of the Flyers. That's an unforced error.
Yep, we got to clean that up. I can't afford plays like that.
And the Tiba Lions has quieted down since getting that tech. Doesn't obviously want the second one.
Yeah, can't afford that either. But they need to have at least a shot attempt at the rim, Sheffield.
Brad Green swinging it wide. Jacob off the mark. Del Pesh hands it off quickly to Ramsey. Ramsey will go inside. Nichols on the drive. Wild pass, defensive help was there, and there's going to be a foul on that drive as Deverl Ramsey had no intention of shooting, but he was just trying to kick it out to the wing. That's where Jordan Ratinho was waiting.
Double substitution. Lucas is coming back.
Samuel's
coming back for the Flyers.
Kind of a lot of bodies flying everywhere.
Rafael Thomas Edwards picking up the foul. 14 back on the shot clock. 5:14 to play here in the first half. Two teams looking to gain some traction and move up the overall standings here in the league. Bristol currently holding on 5th place at 10-10, and the Sharks in 6th, just behind them at 9-8. Coming up on Sunday, these same Sheffield Sharks will be traveling to London for a Christmas Eve special. They take on the #1 ranked London Lions, sitting on top of the league right now and showing no sign of letting up. The only thing I think is going to slow down the Lions, Azania, is that Euro schedule. They are double downing, and they've got a lot of ball to play in the next 3 weeks.
And that's where we've seen London Lions struggle when their schedule is so hectic. You know, they're playing 3 games a week on the road, and we've seen them lose to Newcastle, Plymouth, and one more L. It kind of slips from my mind, but that's when they've lost is when they've been under the pump.
Meanwhile, the Flyers, nice entry-level pass, and oh my! I'll tell you what, Marcus Del Pesh was looking for a highlight dunk right there, just did not have the lift.
To that.
He was committed.
Yeah, he was. Caledonia Gladiators was the other L, sorry. Racking my brains.
2-point lead. We've got a good one here as we continue on the first half. We'll be back to Cannon Medical Arena after this. Merry Christmas and happy holidays as we welcome you to Sky Sports coverage of the British Basketball League. Tonight from the Cannon Medical Arena, the Sheffield Sharks taking on the visiting Bristol Flyers. 2-point lead for the Flyers. Todd Harris and Zania Stewart with you as we approach 4.5 minutes to play here in the first half. A low-scoring affair, Zania. What do you see as far as changes that need to happen in the second half? Because I feel like Bristol is doing what Bristol does.
Yeah, there Sheffield puts on another foul. You got to adjust to the referee, and I think also, but Sheffield putting on a bit of a full-court press, slowing Bristol down. But still, nothing really jumping out at me right now. Anything to change? You just got to go with the ups and downs and the flow of the game.
Another game going on tonight as Surrey is taking on Plymouth. And we've got Surrey out to a big lead over the Plymouth Flyers, 46-26 as they get to the halftime. And I'll tell you what, I don't know where Plymouth is going to get that third win. No. I know they're trying to get there, but they got a lot of work to do. And Paul James is the coach to get it done, but it just seems like they cannot find continuity.
Yeah, they're struggling. They've lost some pieces, and you're right. I'm not sure. They've just been really a hard, tough season for them.
Back to our game, 2-point game as we approach to 4 minutes to play. This will be the final game for the Bristol Flyers here for 6 days on the drive. That one goes awry, and back come the Flyers on the drive. Nice dish underneath, and the foul as Pasquale Landolfi takes the pass from Tajon Lucas. He'll go to line. As I was saying, Bristol Flyers, they get 6 days off.
That's not to the line. I think she's calling it clean. Oh, out of bounds.
Clean block.
Yeah.
Less than 4 minutes left.
Well done on the defense then. My apologies, Jordan Ratinho. You got all ball.
Sorry, what did you say?
So the Flyers are off until the 28th.
Oh, yeah.
They're going to get 6 days, and that's going to get Tevin Olesen time to get healthy. Flyers could be a dangerous team if they can get healthy and find some consistency. Ovi talked about it in the pregame. A team that's got to find consistency. Beautiful pass as 3 seconds now on the shot clock. And the Sharks will get it. Last touch by the Flyers.
I think both of these teams need to clean up their passes. Sorry, just a bit too much arcing, a bit slow of a pass. It's too easy to read and run through the passing lane or tap it out.
Beautiful feed and a nice finish by Marcus Delpeche.
Well, lovely. Probably the easiest bucket so far. And we'll see potentially. But good job. And you know what's funny is that the timeouts is happening. Go ahead.
I'll leave it at 22, 3:29 before the halftime. Coming up at the half, we take you back to the studio. Jeanette, Ovi, and D'Lo. Jeanette, what do you got for us?
Oh, there's plenty to talk about here. Todd, Zania, Sheffield's defence in particular. Ovi, we're seeing something pretty special tonight.
Completely stifling defense from the Sheffield Sharks. Can't wait to dive into that a little bit more at half.
And some key players as well, D'Lo. We picked out a couple, haven't we?
Yeah, most definitely. We're going to be talking about Jason, how he's just come on and he's been a real pros and kind of changed the game right away.
It's going to be a good one. We'll see you guys at halftime.
How about Jeanette, Ovi, and D'Lo looking like they came off a shoot from GQ magazine?
Sharp.
Oh, I'm telling you what, it's crisp.
Love them.
I'll leave it at 22. Low-scoring affair here in Sheffield before the Christmas break. The Lions, though, would love to get a win here. This would mean so much for them, not only to get their 10th win, Azania, but then give them a little momentum as they head down to London to take on the Lions on Sunday.
Yeah, I think, the schedule is pretty tough, and especially, like we said, with the holidays coming, you want to make sure you don't eat too much turkey, first of all. But, yeah, I just think just staying focused, but locking in at one game at a time. Don't overlook or look too far ahead. Just take your time with this game. It's important.
And I'm sure both these coaches feel these are the games they have to win. I mean, they're kind of evenly matched right in the middle of the table, but these are the ones, if you want to be in contention at the end of the season, be at the top of the table, you got to win these 6th, 7th teams in the league.
Well, especially at home, you know, when you have your home court, you've got your fans, which look like they've come out for to support them. You've got to make sure you lock in this dub, and these teams right in the same spot, right in the middle of the pack. 6th for Sheffield, like you said, and 5th.
Someone's going to have to step up for either of these squads as we are all knotted up looking for someone to take control of this one. Will it be Big Brad Green? Will Bennett Cook come in after his foul situation and get himself right. As Tejon Lucas now, the 6'1 guard, originally out of Milwaukee, Wisconsin, by way of BYU, will go to the line.
Yeah, this was a good drive from Lucas. Sheffield playing a 2-1-2, kind of looking like a 2-3, but he just had that little hesitation and got to the rim.
Bristol, a very guard-heavy squad. They've got Tevin Olesen, they've got Trajan Jacob, they've got, you know, CJ Jackson, and you've got Tejon Lucas. So just finding your minutes on a team like this has got to be hard.
Yeah, finding your minutes, but I kind of like it because there's no drop-off, right? When a sub comes in, you have Lucas waiting on the bench and comes in and comes in with great energy. So yeah, sometimes it is heavy guard, but yeah, I think they do really well.
Lucas, the 69% free throw shooter, hits 1 of 2 to break the deadlock. 23-22 now. Flyers on top. Lucas, of course, coming back from hamstring injury, so it'll take him a little time to get back into full game performance and feeling like he's comfortable there. That's a little too tight a defense there, not letting DeVarrell Ramsey get through, and they're gonna tag Corey Samuels for that one.
Yeah, they're gonna have to adjust now. Gonna have to adjust. They've called it.
Corey's pleading his case to Kate Unsworth.
Well, look at this. I think it's just a bit double hands on. He actually gets his hand kind of caught up in there. But Coach Kapoulas spoke about at the top of the game, you know, trying to speed Sheffield up, have to control the boards, the offensive and the defensive boards. So they're doing a good job at that.
Under 3 minutes to play here in the first half. Shot clock at 9, and that was going to be a thunderous dunk, so that was probably a good foul to take, as it looked like Kipper Nichols was ready to cock that one back and throw it down.
And it's such an easy foul for the ref. Look, when you slap down, yeah, Leslie Smith jumped, took the bait, and then Bell hits down. Easy call for the ref.
So RGB's foul sends Nichols to the line. Nichols off the front end, a 84% free throw shooter, usually good for 12 points a game. Coming off a good performance last time these teams played, he had 13 points and 5 boards in the loss.
Nice. I'm going to start using that. RGB.
RGB?
Yeah, I like that.
Some people will say it's just lazy announcing.
Oh, no, but...
His mom would probably prefer to hear Roll Graham Bell.
Yeah, we'll put some respect on the name, but we like it.
Back even at 23. All Michael Jordan across the board now. 2:45 to play in the game from the Cannon Medical Arena. Lucas. Nice job driving in, can't finish it, but his running mate underneath doing the dirty work and getting it done. Leslie Smith was thinking, how about a little something there, Santa, for the effort?
Yeah.
How about a +1?
Yeah, working hard. Referee, no call. You've got to finish that. You've got to put the defender and the ball in the hoop.
You made a comment on one of the last games we were together, and you said you've got to adjust the way the officials are calling the game. Now, they may be letting them play, but they are consistent.
Yeah, they are. For me, you've got to see if they're doing touchy fouls as this 3 goes up. You've got to make sure you're disciplined. Move your feet, get your hands out.
Tejon Jacob will drive with the left off the glass high and puts it in. So a 4-point run now for the Flyers, and they are up 27-23 under 2 minutes to play in the first half. Signs of offense. Middle is just clogged with white jerseys. Coutinho now cocks it from 3, hits it this time. Jordan Coutinho.
There's no way that he's not at the top of the scout list for shooting threes.
Such a crisp delivery. 1-point ball game. On the fade, nothing there. There's going to be a loose ball foul. As Pipkins. And it's going to be called on Tejon Lucas. So Lucas picking up his first with 1:16 to go. Here's one more time as RGB back down the D.
Yeah, he went to that earlier on in the game, didn't he?
Lucas and Pipkins tile up, but look at Coutinho. Oof. It's a I would say a different delivery.
Yeah,
Coutinho's jumper.
He's known for a 3-point shoot. He's going to constantly shoot to shoot. You cannot leave him open or not have a hand in his face.
LaMelo Ball. When I see that jumper, I think LaMelo Ball.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Not seen it.
Yeah, his is ugly.
Didn't say that, folks. That was Zane Stewart.
I'm sorry.
It's different.
But he gets buckets.
It's different. He gets buckets.
Yeah, and I can't hate on him. He's got his own little shoe line, so we'll shout him out.
Jalen Pipkins now out of Paris, Texas, by way of Purdue. Pipkins gets it down. Averaging 14 points a game. Coach Lyons would love to see him and Ramsey merge with running mates like Nichols and Matinho. And if they get Bennett Cook on the floor again, that is a nice 5 on the floor.
Free throws are important. That second one rims in and out.
CJ Jackson now with the rock. Drives into the lane. Too many blue jerseys there. Big bodies up there. But oh, and almost a throwback by Leslie Smith. He couldn't get it to sit. Gave a full rim check on that one as Leslie Smith just lost control of the ball, but plenty of rim in both hands.
Yeah, but good job by him. And this is what Bristol's good at. They send multiple players to the rim, flying in. It's hard to box him out. Good drive hit by RGB, and then here comes Leslie Smith trying to rock the rim.
Wanted that one in a big-time way. 6'8" forward out of Tortola, British Virgin Islands. I'm thinking he's probably missing home just a little bit weather-wise. British Virgin Islands as opposed to
Bristol. Weather, there's no...
Yeah.
Maybe they got a little bit of sunshine. Actually, hasn't really been cold.
It has not been
especially in London. I can't complain. It's been about 12 degrees, which is, I don't know what, 49, maybe 50 to
45.
Yeah, 50
For the folks
Fahrenheit.
watching back in the lower 48, they've had some terrible weather on the east coast of the U.S. Rain, heavy winds here in London. It's been a thing of beauty. 58 seconds to play in the first half. 29-27, Bristol on top.
Capoulis. Going to draw up something. Here, I'll draw up maybe 2 plays also, an offensive good structure, and then maybe something to slow them down, or even a steal or a trap or full court press or something like that.
The good news is, and you might agree or disagree with this, Azania, is usually when you're scoring at will and the ball's going in, it doesn't last. And usually when you're missing your shots and you can't score, it usually doesn't last.
Okay.
I want to remind you the game's coming up on the YouTube channel Saturday at 5 p.m. The Manchester Giants taking on the Leicester Riders, and our good friend Coach Rob trying to get the Riders in there. Plymouth City Patriots, who are taking on Surrey tonight, will face off against the Caledonia Gladiators, and that's at Saturday at 8 p.m. on the British Basketball League YouTube channel. And then on Sunday, this will be a good one. London Lions taking on these very same Sheffield Sharks. Will the Sharks come in 10-8, or will they come in at 9-9?
And that's on Christmas Eve. Who knew?
Good time to be at the Copper Box.
Yeah, we're giving you Christmas hoops.
That's good stuff. 29-27, 24 full seconds on the shot clock, 58.1. And there you see the players. Jacob with 11 points, Green chipping in with 6, Smith on 4, and Corey Samuels coming in with 3. Little backcourt pressure here, trying to disrupt the Sharks' offensive flow.
Yeah, look, see, I told you something was coming, maybe a trap.
Left wide open for 3. Pipkins not going to get the bounce. It hits the top of the backboard, so that will be a turnover going the way. Couldn't get much better look than that. He was left wide open.
Yeah.
Jalen Pipkins would like to have that one back again. That was a clean look for him. So 44.7 seconds as the offensive pace continues. Pretty consistent throughout this game. Neither team really taking control. Not a lot of running and shooting. Not a lot of fast break points to speak of.
Let's see what they do here. Capoulis got the defense that he wanted. Let's see what they get on the offensive end.
Not dropping into a zone, going man-on-man.
Lucas.
5 seconds on the shot clock. Kicks out high. 3 seconds now. Got to get the shot up. Got the rim, so that resets. And RGB with the putback and the 2.
Yeah.
Shot clock off now, and 12 seconds left.
Way to stay with that.
Ramsey.
Ramsey's shot just off the mark. So we go to the half, and again, it's the Bristol Flyers who have found their way into the lead. The question is, can they hold on to that against the Sheffield Sharks, who will make obvious changes at the half? So Bristol feeling pretty good about the road trip thus far, with Andreas Kapoulas at the head in his 17th season. Remember, they have a game not until 12/28, and that's when they take on the Leicester Riders at Leicester. Taking care of the business at hand. Bristol doing exactly what they needed to do, winning that first half against a very motivated Sheffield Sharks squad.
And really still close game.
Yeah. Right now we send it down onto the court. Drew Lasker standing by with Trajan Jacob.
Yeah, Trajan, a typical slugfest when these teams meet. What's your assessment of that first half?
It was a little ugly at first. We hadn't got exactly what we wanted to, but we keep moving the ball, running our stuff. And like that on defense, we'll be all right.
And you seem like the only one that can put the ball in the cup. In what ways can the team get their offense going?
Honestly, moving the ball, I'm playing a lot on the outside right now, not getting Brad much touches, not getting inside much touches. So I think we do that, play inside and out, and we'll be just fine.
Thanks for your time.
Appreciate you.
Back to you guys.
Well, that's all for now. Thank you to Todd Nazania. It's Sheffield 27, Bristol 31 at the halfway point.
Thanks, mate.
And we'll be back for second half analysis right after this. Welcome back to your British Basketball League game on a Friday. Bristol Flyers 31, Sheffield Sharks 27. We've got a 4-point game. Two teams that are searching for consistency. Pretty close to call this one, but one thing that's been apparent, Bristol have been making tough shots against a Sheffield team that are tight on defense. A defense that's kept them in this game. Trajan Jacobs of the Flyers leads the scoring, 11 points off the bench. We said it'd be important, but it's a low-scoring half though. because although defensively Sheffield are keeping Bristol at bay, offensively they need to step up. We can stay pretty quite hard from Devell Ramsey and Jalen Pipkins. D'Lo, looking at those stats there, it's pretty close. It's pretty close to call, isn't it?
It's been tough. It's been a slugfest. Both teams are really struggling to shoot the ball from the field and from three-point line, but Bristol really played to their strengths. 26 rebounds, 4 steals, 7 turnovers. It's going to be a tough game.
What needs to change? What we're seeing here is that Sheffield defense, Obi, they're quite solid with it, but they need to step up offensively as well.
Their defense has been incredible. I feel like that's what they've hung their hat on all season long. But offensively, they're going to have to get it going. You know, Ramsey, Pipkins, those are guys that they look to create, you know, to create baskets and easy opportunities for themselves and for the other guys. If those guys aren't getting aggressive to get in the lane, it's going to be a long night. But this is what they've done very well. You know, here in this first possession, you see the communication. They push out the offensive team out wide. And you're going to see here the Bristol team, they end up getting a shot and they make it. But the only difference you'll see between this basket and the ones we'll see coming here are the contests. These sort of contests, you know, you jump out at guys. If you can rewind that, the big difference between this second possession and the first one, in my opinion, is they finished the possession with a contest. Let it run now. You know, they shut everything down, nothing easy on the inside. They finished the possession with a big contest, and they were able to rebound the ball. Now, earlier on in the half, they were winning on the boards. Obviously, Bristol, being an incredible rebounding team, ended up taking control on the boards. But here we see them on defense again, what they hang their hat on. Stop it there, stop it there, stop it there. Go back to that ball screen, go back to that ball screen. Now, as the offensive player is coming off, if you just freeze it here, there's no space in the paint. You got 3 guys from the defense sort of setting up camp in the middle and letting the offensive player see that, look, nothing's going to be easy. So as he goes down the lane, let it play. He knows he can't get anything directly to the cup because there's someone right there. And he pushes them out wide, allowing the defense, again, to get an easy rebound and lets them run in transition. And this has really been the theme for these guys. Been the theme for them all night long.
Yeah. And like we say, this is D'Lo. This has kept them pretty much in the game.
This kept them in just because Bristol... Oh.
Yep.
Yeah, going on to playing the game, Bristol need to continue to play.
Yeah, in terms of Trajan, what he's been able to do has been pretty special as well, right?
So everyone's so worried about starting in the game of basketball. But Trajan, coming off the bench, was able to watch, see that Bristol was missing a little bit of energy, and he came on and he was a spark right away. If you go back, he was overplaying the passing lanes. So if we slowly bring it back. Overplaying the passing lane, getting really there, taking it into transition, and then making a highlight play.
Yeah.
We can let it run. But he's also shown that it's just more than offense. He can play both sides of the ball. He can do a little bit of everything. And the team really needs a spark.
And this is what we were saying, Obi, wasn't it? It was going to be about the impact of someone like Jacobs off the bench.
Yeah, Jacobs, he knows he's going to have to affect the game in many different ways. Here from the 3, but as you said and alluded to, he does so many different things. Here in transition, getting down, being aggressive. You know, in a game where it's been extremely difficult to find baskets, someone like him coming in and sort of taking that role by the helm is extremely important.
We spoke about Brad Green at the top of the show as well. Your thoughts on his performance in these first 2 quarters of D'Lo?
He's been dominant. He started off the game wanting the ball inside. He wants to take his time. Here, soft touch, little jump shot. But he's really just someone that's reliable. When you know that you can count on him for finishing around the rims, rebounding, it just gives you ease of mind when you're playing.
Yeah, no, the big man, you know, here knocking down the mid-range shot. Again, Mr. Consistency, you know, a big man who doesn't necessarily cry for the ball, doesn't beg for the ball, but when it does come his way, he's very effective, very efficient. That is an absolute dream for guards and for coaches.
We spoke about Devell Ramsey at the top. Now, this guy, we wanted him to be able to come out here and do something pretty special. Is he living up to our expectations this evening?
I think Sheffield would want a little bit more from him, but what I've been impressed is Bristol have actually been throwing a lot of ball screens, deep end coverages at him. So here in the middle, they went underneath the first screen, but then here, they ice, he rejects, he beats the big to the basket, and he's able to finish around the rim for the and one.
Yeah, Devell Ramsey, he's going to have to continue to just be aggressive.
Yeah.
You know, I feel like if he's not aggressive, he's not going to be able to create opportunities like that, that lob up to Delpesh for the big-time slam. his aggressiveness is what kicks all of those kind of plays off.
Well, we shall see how they get on in that second half. That's all for now. It's Sheffield 27, Bristol 31 at the halfway point. We have a 4-point game. It's very tight, and we'll be back with the second half right after this. Welcome back to the British Basketball League live on Sky Sports and across the USA. We are halfway through tonight's matchup between the Sheffield Sharks and the Bristol Flyers. The score is 27-31. Now, we're going to meet a couple of the Bristol Flyers. Is it to Route 1 to do an aeroplane museum and make some paper planes? No, didn't think so.
If you were talking about turbulence, I mean, the month of November was a rocky one for us. That was like flying into a storm.
Their losing streak still continues. Yeah, that's the frustration for them.
I feel like right now, coming out of it, everyone's starting to play really well together.
TJ here with my boy BG, and today we're gonna attempt the paper plane competition. Whoever throws it the farthest wins. We're gonna give it our best shot and see what we can do. Nice crease right there, though. A little crease right there. We had a rough November, so we're just trying to get back into the swing of things and play how we know we can play and get the job done. Of your childhood right here that I clearly missed.
If I can remember correctly, this plane is called the Bulldog.
Handcrafted by yours truly.
Ready? 3, 2, 1.
We don't look too far ahead of the schedule. We kind of take it one day at a time, one game at a time. And we get in recovery when we can and just be ready to go. Oh, he's in the air. Look at him. He's in. He's gone.
It's not a one-man show out there, so we rely on one another.
Get him out of here. Get him out of here.
It's just trust and respect with one another. It helps us a lot getting through those times.
Well, thank God they can play basketball and don't have to make that for a living. My goodness. Paper planes a bit disappointing, aren't they?
Huge disappointment. Huge disappointment.
But just very quickly, Brad Green, listen, he described his team as being quite turbulent. And what does it say about actually being able to muck in and do a bit of teamwork there, D'Lo?
Well, season's a marathon, and you're going through the tough times. They've had lots of injuries. They've got into a rhythm now, and yeah, like you said, I know Coach Kabula sleeps better at night knowing that they can throw the ball in the rim better than they can throw the planes.
Yeah, and it's important for them to be able to understand, they had that 5-game losing streak back in November. They've pulled together since then, and that's really going to pay dividends, isn't it?
It will. Just like I had a losing streak, they have to remember they had a winning streak also, and that is really what the season is about, and that's what life's about. It's all cyclical, it goes round in circles, so the good times are coming.
The good times are coming, and our good time guys are in position. Zania Stewart and Todd Harris, it's all yours.
All right, thank you very much, Jeanette. We're glad to be with you tonight from the Camden Medical Arena, and we've got a good one on our hands, 31-27. If you like defense, this might be your game, Azania, because right now the offense is just not flowing for other squad, and I tend to be a glass half full person. I think it's the defense that's causing the problems. Before we get to the second half tip, let's check in with Drew Lasker.
Coach, both teams shooting about 30%. What message did you prioritize there in the locker room?
Physicality. I think we got our physical in that game, that half, 10 offensive rebounds, I believe. A lot of them on the same possession, but still it's just limiting our time of possession, limiting our transition, putting us in foul trouble. So we got to get better with that. And then our end, not executing great. We're getting pushed out of our sets a little bit. We got to be stronger.
Thanks for your time. Good luck, Coach.
So that's what head coach Atiba Lions told Drew Lasker just moments ago, 31-27. Sheffield did have a lead momentarily. Bristol started off with a 7-2 run to start the game. So Bennett Cook, the big man, back in the game for the Sharks. That's a nice floating drive down the lane coming by way of Jalen Pipkins.
Yeah, needed a good start, and that puts him on 5 points. No real, scorer standing out. That's Ramsey with 5 and Coutinho and Nichols all 6 and 5. So nobody in double digits yet.
Here's the matchup we thought we'd see a lot more of tonight. Cook winning that battle as Big Brad Green goes to the right hand. Can't get it to fall. So a new look Sharks now with Bennett Cook in the game. That's got to change the dynamics of how both the Bristol Flyers attack and how they defend. Double fake up and under. Well done.
Lovely. Knew the defense was coming, flying at him at both angles, different angles. Good poise under the rim.
Nichols, by way of the University of Illinois, gets that bucket, and we are all even at 31. So that 4-point lead they had at the half, the Flyers, it has evaporated. A lot of movement on the Bristol offensive end. I saw 4 white jerseys standing as Zanian. One guy really moving. On the other side, though, Coutinho can't get it to fall, but the Sharks are out and running.
Pass there.
Jalen Pipkins now working on the right wing. Ramsey back inside. That's a great sign for them. Bennett Cook getting involved, saddled with 2 early fouls, and it just changes the Sharks' offensive attack.
Different energy, a little bit more focused in this third. I think the third quarter is so important. You can't come out with being, that's a daisical or not focused. Good job by Sheffield so far.
And the energy the Sharks are bringing. Atiba Lions gave his team the what-for at half, and they've come out and responded as the Flyers have come down with 3 empty possessions. Another floater, not going to fall. Brad Green will take it away. They've gone from being down 4 to up 2 in the space of 2.5 minutes.
Yeah, quick. Real quick. And Bristol, for me, are struggling scoring other than, Jacobs with 11 points.
Oof. That was knocked off the hands of Devereux Ramsey as RGB missed that 3. Meanwhile, there you see what's happening with Surrey and Plymouth. It's 57-45, so Plymouth has made this a little more of a game.
Yep.
Sticking around.
They're sticking around, but Surrey will keep pushing right till the end.
Yeah.
But Coach Kapoulis has seen enough, a little run there. He's going to call a timeout and just have a little chat about it. But just going back to, who else is going to step up? We saw Jacobs, he has 11 points, but then after that, you got the RGB with 4 points.
Yep.
Brad Green with 6 points, up, and I liked what Jacob said at halftime to our great Drew Lasker, said, hey, we need to establish our big guys again. And I think I talked about that, finding your big guys, making sure that they get touches, something easy to the rim, a good high percentage shot, and then go back out. Look, there's the scorers. Thank you very much, graphics. And nobody's really stepping up, helping on the scoring end.
And think about this, Brad Green's 4 points of those 6 came in the first minute and a half, so he really only had 1 bucket the rest of the game. And I think you made a great point as a former big. If you start down low with the bigs and they start getting easy looks, the defense is going to suck in. That's going to open up the outside.
Yeah, and then for Sheffield, it's been a struggle on the other end because Cook picked up those 2 early fouls, so then he had to go to the bench, lost his rhythm, and had to go to the guards. So, you know, no real team really, you know, getting ahead of themselves, and where Sheffield have made this little bit of a run, Coach Kapoulis has called a timeout, and here's a steal.
Bennett Cook takes it away, so after setting up probably was a key inbound play, foiled by Bennett Cook.
And this is where Coach Kapoulis, they say, pulls out his hair in moments like that.
We just set up a play, guys, and didn't even execute the inbound. Cook now. Oh, and miscommunication there as Pipkins was looking for the back door. Cook had already let go of the ball.
Yeah, and they just give each other a high five. Misunderstanding, yep. But both teams, come on, including myself, lock in here.
See the turnovers equal 9 apiece. Hasn't been the cleanest game, but again, I'd like to credit the defense for it. Outside shot coming, and it's off the front of the rim, taken away Nichols. Thought about running, gets it into Bennett Cook. Cook to the outside. Deep range 3. Not there. Cook, though, offensive rebound. Goes right back up. Beautiful little jump hook from Bennett Cook. Now a 4-point lead. Remember, they trailed at 4 at the half, and so Sheffield has come out with new resilience here in the second half. A totally different looking squad from my vantage point, Xenia. They look a little crisper on defense, and they're executing their passes much better, other than that one throwaway by Bennett Cook.
Yeah, there's no doubt that Coach Lyons definitely, you know, re-energized his team at halftime, probably giving them a stern talk. And, you know, he picked up that technical foul earlier on, so he definitely meant business. But I think it's on the defensive end. They've just started to get Bristol a few turnovers, so now Coach Kapoulis has gone to his bench and subbed in a few guys.
John Lucas now checking in. He'll run the offense for the Flyers. That 3 just off the mark. We talked about it. Shots weren't falling earlier. Now they're really not falling. Easy layup for Jalen Pipkins as he streaks to the glass and puts it in. 5:58 to play in the third, and look at this. Sheffield up by 6 here from the Cannon Medical Arena.
Yeah, and here's the lead layup. Beautiful finish. Out to the races. Left hand. That's how you do it, boys and girls.
6-point lead, and it's a whole different ball game here as the Sheffield Sharks trying to get their 10th win of the season. They currently sit at 9-8, and this would be huge. We talked about this in the first half of Xenia. If the Sharks can get this win and go to 10-8, it makes that trip to London maybe a little easier, knowing what they're going to face.
Yeah, I don't think it's ever easy going to the Copper Box playing the London Lions, who are #1. But I think building confidence and certain things, you know, step by step, and it's definitely the defense. Here you see them putting multiple plays together, then leading out to easy baskets.
Question about it. And there you see Coach Kapoulis. A little calmer in the first half, not so much now. Atiba Lyons, who picked up, as they talked about, picking up that technical foul, maybe motivated himself, got the attention of the officials. And Bennett Cook, I think having him on the court just seems like it's making a difference. So different.
Yeah, well, he's a wonderful post player. You know I love a post player. The importance of establishing that post play. He was out with those couple fouls. Now that he's got himself going, he's seen the ball go through the rim. Now you can, you know, actually, they're getting shooters wide open. Yeah. They're just not knocking them down. We've seen Ramsey have some open threes.
Most importantly, Atiba Lyons has kept the jacket on. It usually measures his frustration level, but the jacket stays on, and why not? His team was down 4, now up 6. Now it's the Bristol Flyers' turn to make an adjustment, see if they can get back in this ball game. Excellent ball movement. Tajon Lucas kind of caught in between. Looked like he thought about hitting glass. And in the end, he came somewhere in between. Sharks, 3. Count it. Nichols. This is a Jekyll and Hyde situation as Sheffield trailed by 4. And where did this team come from offensively? They are hitting, they are passing, they are executing perfectly.
And now a 13-0 run this first 4.5 minutes. And still...
Oh, and somehow Bennett Cook keeps that in play.
Wow, he tiptoed that baseline, didn't he? Showed his dancing skills.
Took it behind the back, tried to throw it off a flyer. Just look at the way the offense is. I mean, their passes inside, outside. People are moving. Getting shots like that. Cook pushed off, and they're going to call the foul on Trajan Jacob as he was trying to keep the much bigger Bennett Cook at 6'10" off the boards.
Well, a whole different team that we're seeing Sheffield here. Look, nice little turnaround jumper.
Yeah, that was an easy one as Cook went up and knocked off. You know, I love when your offensive game isn't working, you can contribute in other ways. And now he's turned his attention to rebounding and kind of filling up that post position.
I love that, and I think that's an important thing.
9-point lead. The Sheffield Sharks looking for that 10th win of the season. Do they get it done here at home? We'll find out on Sky Sports after this. Friday night basketball on Sky Sports as we've got a good one here. The Sheffield Sharks trying to pull this one out. They trailed by 4 at the half. They have surged to a 9-point lead. So a nice comeback. Also a good comeback coming in that Surrey-Plymouth game as Plymouth has cut it to a 5-point lead. So we've got good ball games across the UK. Those of you watching in the States, hope you're enjoying it. And now a 3-point lead as Tajon Lucas drives and is fouled.
Wow.
Excitement.
They needed that. They needed that to really go in. And looks like
player down.
Yeah, Atwood.
57-54. So we'll keep an eye on that game. Tajon Lucas sensing an opportunity here.
You've got to make that layup. Right hand layup. That's, you know, you can make that with your eyes closed and stop the bleeding.
Inside out, and Devereux Ramsey will go to the line. Odd to see that happening. The big man, Bennett Cook at 6'10", dishing an interior pass to 6'1", Devereux Ramsey posting up on the block. Forty 40-31. Ramsey at the line. Ooh. That's one of those, I'd like that one back moments.
Embarrassing. There's no way you shoot an air ball free throw.
How does that happen? Is that just a case of I want to get nothing but net, just trying to ease it over the front of the rim and just miscalculate? I was always taught to shoot for the back of the rim.
Yeah,
the back
concentration, part of the rim. Being your, you've lost focus. Sorry.
Right now, the Bristol Flyers are in the midst of a major drought. You're not going to believe this, but they have not scored in this half until then.
Leslie Smith said, wait a minute, we needed that bucket.
They went over 5.5 minutes without a bucket.
Yeah, literally 6 minutes.
Ooh. That's tough. Nice side, and that shot just off the mark. Looked like Nichols would have another bucket there. Now come the Flyers, trying to get off that three-point schneid, and they get the shooter's bounce. So a 5-0 run for the Bristol Flyers has them back in the game, only down by 4 now.
There you go. Just get a little bit of energy. Sometimes you just need to see the ball go through the net.
Ramsey gets it onto the block.
See what the Sharks can do now. Shot clock at 7. Wow. Pretty. Looks like Kipper Nichols can get his shot anytime he wants. Fading to the left, a little Paul George, silky smooth baseline J. Back to a 6-point lead, coming up on 3 to play in the third. You know what I'm saying? This is setting us up for a great fourth period if Bristol can find their offensive chops. Extra pass, Lucas, hard off the heel, taken away by Nixon.
Well, really, this is the 4th time that both these teams have played. You do play each other 4 times in regular season, so they know each other well. The games have always come down to the line.
Oh, too easy. Prentice Nixon. Man out of Illinois by way of Colorado State and Iowa State. Had a good performance in the last meeting between these two teams. 11 points in that 2-point loss to the Flyers. Lucas kicks out, extra pass, Jacob. Now, beautiful cut and step going to his left hand, Trajan Jacob.
I think that's one of his first touches. They haven't really found him in the offense. He was the hot hand in the first half, yeah.
Coach Kapoulis is going to scratch his head when he sees the box scores of this game, and they've only scored 7 points in the third period. Sheffield Sharks now have gone a little bit on the cold. 3 on its way. Not there. Leslie Smith may have rushed that one just a little bit.
Nixon, long.
Almost the same spot where he hit the last one. This time you knew right as soon as it left his hand it was not going anywhere. And go back to your leader, Trajan Jacob. Did not start the game, but he has certainly made a huge impact. And now the Flyers trail just by 4.
Not sure if he's limping or not.
Right now, let's go down to Drew Lasker, who's standing by with Mike Tuck.
Yes, guys, I'm standing not only with our colleague, but my 2018 Commonwealth roommate. What's up, man?
How you doing, Drew? Good to see you.
All good. Hey, this is a place that you helped build. Describe what it feels like to finally see these plans come to fruition.
Oh, man, yeah. Like when I came to the club in 2009, it was always something talked about, kind of on the back burner, and now we're here live in the new arena. Basketball has a home now here in Sheffield, you know, a hub for basketball. There's that kind of part of me still wishes I was still playing, but I'm happy to still be out here on the other side.
Well, speaking of plans, tell us what you're up to when you're not behind the screen.
Yeah, so I'm head of marketing for the Sheffield Sharks, but also for the Camden Medical Arena. So just helping grow the game, promote the game, grow the Sharks here in Sheffield.
Well, finally, Mike, they just announced they're having a Hall of Fame. You're the all-time leading rebounder and scorer here. Does Mike Tuck think he belongs in the Hall of Fame?
I don't know. I know I've done a few things here in Sheffield, but I'm just happy that there is a Hall of Fame now. I think that's something huge that the league has progressed, and it just, you know, a tip of the hat to the guys that have kind of paved the way for what we're seeing now.
Hey, I've been knowing this guy a long time. That means put him in the Hall of Fame. Basically, what he's saying.
True.
Thanks for your time, mate.
Thank you.
Hey, I think if Azania had votes, Mike Tuck would go on, and I think I'd put Drew Lasker on that list too.
Absolutely, both of them legends in this league.
Mike Tuck joining us here at Sky Sports Studios on occasion. He was here on the Halloween edition. You remember that?
Oh, yeah, it was me and him on the studio.
Kind of scary.
Yeah. Yeah, great
Rocking
guy.
the Jason mask. 4-point ball game here. 1:16 to play in the third. Marcus Delpech now. He's just searching for someone to screen. And he just olayed out of the way as Corey Samuels went sliding across the court here at the Cannon Medical Arena. 15 seconds on the shot clock. Rodney Glasgow Jr. will inbound it. Oh, Pipkins wheeling and dealing. Jalen Pipkins with a beautiful turnaround fading jumper to connect.
Yeah, I told you, he loves that spot wherever he can get his feet set inside the key. Catch one.
Flyers show a little bit of movement. Why not? Go back to the guy that's got you back in the game. That's 3 straight buckets for Trajan Jacobs.
You can see he's feeling it. Changed hands in the air. Find the hot hand, Bristol, and go to him every single time.
Flyers will get another crack at this with the shot clock now at 10. Ooh, that one's well off the mark, so they will get a full 24 compliment. They can walk this one up. Who you going to, Azania?
Jacobs. Find him. Run him a play. Something simple. Move the ball. You just want the pick and roll, maybe. See what I mean?
On the delay, on the step back. Can't get it to fall, but a beautiful putback that almost was.
And we're at the end of the third. It's a 4-point ball game.
We got ourselves a 4-point ball.
42 to the Flyers.
46-42. We've got ourselves a 4-point ball game. Sheffield on top, 46-42 from the Cannon Medical Arena in Sheffield. Bristol has led for much of this game, but the third quarter certainly belonged to the Sharks with a 3-pointer on its way. And that's how Bristol's going to start things off, and that is a great start as C.J. Jackson buries the 3.
Now it's down to a 1-point ball game.
1-point ball game on a Friday night on Sky Sports. Azania, who you got?
Well, the thing is, Bristol aren't going to give up. And for me, I was a little bit upset at Jackson for shooting that shot. Then he comes out and hits that one.
Ooh.
Well, here we go.
Despite sliding, his foot looked like it caught a little moisture, and Prentice Nixon able to answer right back. So now the offense is starting to pick up. If you weren't with us at the first half, halftime score 31-27. Things got a little smoother in the third. The Sharks leading 46-42. And they led after the first period as well. So if the trend continues, Bristol should finish the fourth on top, and that's going to be a shot clock violation as the defense on the inside just a little too much for the RGB.
Yeah, and that's great defense by Sheffield. They smothered. They knew how much time was on the clock, doubled him, and caused a shot clock violation. Wonderful job by them.
That's great defense in the league. When you can keep a team from even getting a shot off 24, that's fantastic.
Yeah, and a little bit of a warning to the guys who are going back and forth maybe. Little Nixon and
Coach Kapoulas being explained and still trying to figure out what they're... All right, so here we go. Flyers applying a little backcourt pressure. Corey Samuels working on Prentice Nixon. 8:52. There were two Sharks in the neighborhood, but no one wanted to bite. 3-point ball game. Meanwhile, Surrey and Plymouth. Hats off to head coach Paul James and the Plymouth City squad for not giving up. They were down big in that first half. And fought back, cut it 3-4 minutes to play in that ball game. 8:44 to play in this game from Sheffield, with the Sharks taking the trip down to London on Christmas Eve, where they'll take on the homestanding London Lions in their next matchup. For the Bristol Flyers, they're off until the 28th when they travel to see the Leicester Riders.
On the ball, Leslie Smith gives it up. Samuels.
Flyers now looking for the hot hand. I can tell you who that should be. Tell him, Zania, who should have the ball.
Jacobs.
Find number 3. 3 seconds on the shot clock. Step back, long range, nothing. Meanwhile, Trajan Jacobs over there just standing there waiting wide open.
Shaking my head. I hate that play. You know why? There's no movement in the offense, and he can see it. He hasn't even touched the ball. He's 17 points. You've got to understand who you've got on your team that's balling, that's the hot hand. Okay, you can get that jump shot anytime you want. Half the defense have to guard multiple possessions, multiple screens, different actions. I can't stand that play. Sorry.
Preach. 8:13 now to play in the ball game. It's a 3-point Shark lead. Looked like midway through the third period they're going to blow it open as their lead was up by 9. Prentice now at deep range. He's feeling it, not that time. So 2 back-to-back shots that were off the mark for Prentice, and now they finally get the ball in the hands of your guy Trajan Jacobs. See what he can do with it. He draws a lot of attention. Leslie Smith on the drive. Sharks take the rebound. Well done by DeVeryl Ramsey, staying with it. Takes his time bringing this one up. Not time to panic yet for the Bristol Flyers, but they got to find some kind of offensive flow, some kind of identity, I guess you'd say, in this fourth period.
Well, now Jacobs is drawing 2 to 3 defenders. You know, you've got to have guys cutting to the glass. Good block by Leslie Smith.
Cook blocked on the first attempt and stays with it, looking for a foul, doesn't get it. Leslie Smith, to his credit, did a great job of defending the 6'10 Cook. 50-45. Sharks. CJ Jackson. On the drive, kicks it way out. There's the hot hand, Trajan Jacobs, and why not? Listen to Coach Azania Stewart, and things will fly well for you Flyers. Just had to give you credit where credit was due. 2-point ball game. Ratinho thought about it, gives it off to Nixon. Nixon takes the screen from Cook in the lane. Nowhere to go with it, tied up, and just has to put this one up. Cook there to help him out, and he can't get it to fall. Ratinho now, and he's going to be little foul there, so Ratinho staying with it, but yeah, just moments ago, just as Azania Stewart said, find the hot hand.
Yep. Here it is, good little drive baseline, and it's just to squeeze it out, and Jacobs wide open. But Bristol, for me, this is a nice, there it is again. Bristol, for me, are keeping Sheffield to one tough shot, but then letting them get a second and a third opportunity And there's Jacob there, 20 points, 1 rebound, as he'll have a little chat with the referee. But I think it's their defense right now. They've got to make sure that they get those.
Well, while we were away, C.J. Jackson was called for a foul, and C.J. Jackson was called for a technical foul. No harm on the technical foul, but Kipper Nichols can't make it count. So now it's back to the 2 shooting. So both teams really scrapping, working hard in the latter parts of this ball game. 50-48, Flyers hanging around. And now Jordan Ratinho going to the line. He'll shoot 2.
Well, and I also think it's not too long ago we saw at the top of the game the comeback of you know, Bristol and Coach Lyons losing his mind.
Yeah, Ratinho is such a good outside shooter, but just a 46% free throw shooter.
That's incredible, isn't it?
I know, he's
Under
closer.
50%.
He's usually shooting 3s at no problem.
Wow. And here it
Get it
goes.
to fall.
That's why he's under 50%.
There you go.
Didn't even make 1.
So they had a chance to go up by 5. They come away with nothing. Lucas now back into the game. Lucas trying to spread the court. Finds the hot hand inside to Big Brad Green. His shot blocked. Well done on the help defense by Nichols as he blocks that shot. I thought that was a gimme for Brad Green. Nichols now one-on-one. Gives up his dribble. Finds Ratinho. Back to Nichols. Shot clock under 5. He spins, and they're going to call RGB on the hook as Nichols was able to get around him. Interesting game. You made the comment earlier, it's not the prettiest game as far as offense goes, but they're finding their way, and both teams are having spurts, but no one, as Ovi said in the pregame, no one's finding consistency.
Yeah, I think that's actually a great point, that both of these teams, and it's showing, right, the ups and downs of the game, but it is a game of, you know, flows and ups and downs and who's got the hot hand. But for me, it's all about the defense right now.
Yep.
Both teams, I think in particular, Bristol need to lock in, get Sheffield down to 1 shot, rebound the ball. And they've
Ball
got
taken
it.
away, and a great job by Tajon Lucas, and the throwdown for the Flyers. It wasn't the prettiest outlet pass, but Tajon Lucas kept that ball alive and just tipped it forward. And here we go. Game on. All tied up at 50s.
And remember, they went into overtime. There you go.
That was huge.
Yeah.
Huge bucket from Ramsey.
Yeah.
(52-50), Sheffield with the lead, under 5 to play. If you're not going to Trajan Jacob as Zania right now, you got to be thinking, what, Brad Green?
Yes, absolutely. There you go. But there's
Give
one
it
of
to the
those
big
passes.
man. Entry pass knocked away. Here come the Sharks. Left wide open after the collision, and Ramsey makes them pay.
Fantastic hit by Ramsey. Coach Kapoulis needs a timeout.
Timeout on the court. The Sharks have flexed up on the Flyers. They lead by 4.
Media timeout has been called. Please welcome to the court.
Back here in Sheffield, we got a good game on our hands, 55-50 with under 5 minutes to play. Meanwhile, Surrey and Plymouth in a classic 66-62. Surrey with the lead. Remember, they had a double-digit big lead, Azania, and the Plymouth City squad coming back strong.
Yeah. And
that hit the top of the backboard, so it'll be a turnover.
Plymouth is trying to look for their third win.
Double substitution coming
54-50, Sheffield with the lead, 4:21 to play in this ball game. Coach Kapoulis sensing an opportunity could possibly be slipping out of their hands. They need some offense here. They need a big defensive stop.
I think 4 points, a lot of time to get a bucket, but it's got to be on this defensive end. They've got to lock in. They've got to get the stop.
Nichols.
Can see the energy though for Bristol.
Ramsey back to Nichols on the post. Help defensive coming. He turns and fires and buries it.
Nothing you can do about that. Shot clock running down.
Now the Flyers looking to answer back. Oh, nice drive inside, and it goes awry as Rafael Thomas Edwards couldn't get that shot to fall, cutting through the Shark defense. This is a critical possession here. Bristol's got to get a stop. Del Pesh now.
2 seconds.
Shot clock at 1. Got to hoist this one up, and why not? And why not?
Yes, Ramsey's coming into his own right now.
That might have been the biggest bucket of the night as Flyers answer back. But I'll tell you what, coming up on 3 minutes to play, they are down by 7. Bristol trying to keep this thing manageable, and that 3 by Ramsey with 1 second on the shot clock, mark that down. That might be the bucket of the game.
Yeah, here it goes. Gets Lucas opposite off of him, behind the back. Big shot clock running down. He says, hey. But with Lucas, the speed of him and Jacobs could pull this back in, but they need to, you know, get buckets quite a lot because time is running out.
Defensive stand here needed by the Flyers. Ball swings around on the drive, off the leg, but I think last touch by Lucas, so it'll stay with the Sharks. But look at the shot clock again, just 2 seconds. Tejon Lucas trying to supercharge the Flyer defense, which has gone a little bit flat here in this fourth period.
Del Pesh is going out, Cook's coming back.
So they're going to substitute in the big man, Bennett Cook. Brad Green will also come in for the Flyers. It's been quiet. He had those first 4 points to start this game off, and it's been pretty quiet since then.
2 seconds here. Can Sheffield get a shot off?
Ooh, yeah, I was gonna say that's got to be either a no call or he kind of leaned into it, right? Kipper Nichols.
Yeah, just kind of shot fake and then went into Leslie Smith's cylinder, so they've called that an offensive foul. So they've got the turnover that they needed.
Tiva Lions hoping his Sharks can bring this one home. They have a 7-point lead coming up with 2.5 minutes to play in the ball game. And the bump. Nice drive by C.J. Jackson. There was no one home to defend the rim. And he got the big bump as he traveled down the lane. Looks like they're going to get Jalen Pipkins for that one.
Yeah, I like this play that Bristol do. They kind of have this kind of fake that the guard makes the defender think that the pick and roll's coming. It's just a little hesitation. Good job by him.
So Jackson, C.J. Jackson out of Charlotte, North Carolina by way of Ohio State University, goes to the line, averaging 9 points a game. 85% free throw shooter, so if you got to have someone step up, this is probably the guy you want if you're Andreas Kapoulis and the Flyers.
Don't you have to say the?
You know, I think if I was in the Big Ten, I would, but I'm not a Big Ten guy, so I'm just going to say Ohio State University.
And I'm an SEC
You're
gal.
SEC country.
So.
Do you say the University of Florida?
Sure. Put some respect on it.
Gator for life. Knocks that one down, cuts it to a 6-point lead. Coach Kapoulas saying, fellas, we should be winning this game. Let's just take care of the rock.
You can see how...
Off the rim on that one. Brad Green had his mitts on it momentarily and couldn't corral it. So it stays a 6-point game under 2.5 to play.
I was going to say, you can see how these coaches get stressed in this type of game, right?
Do you ever coach? Would you ever coach?
No, absolutely not. Don't think of anything worse.
Bennett Cook, nowhere to go. Excellent defense there. Outside shot coming. Brad Green will come away with the rebound.
It's too stressful.
I don't argue on that one. Another opportunity now for the Flyers. Jackson driving, goes to his left. It just had too much on it. Had a little bit of contact, was probably anticipating more and possibly a foul. You saw Trajan Jacob waiting on the baseline, hopefully for a pass, as he was ready to pull the trigger on a 3. Shot clock at 7. Ramsey's shot partially blocked. Lucas now. He knows where to go. 3 coming. Count it.
Drains it.
Lets the fans on the front row know Trajan Jacob is no joke. Game plan should be simple if you're the Flyers. Get it to him.
Yeah, but also if you're Sheffield Sharks, how can you leave him open? He is the leading scorer, has plus 20 points, and he has a wide open look. Got it in his veins. Well done. Good for him.
Coach Kapoulas feeling a little more energized now. He can see a light at the end of the tunnel. They still have a 3-point mountain to climb. 90 seconds to play in this game. Watching the action also, Surrey and Plymouth. Final 12 seconds there. And a 4-point lead for Surrey. That one off the mark. Back come the Flyers. Trajan Lucas tied up. No foul called. And they're going to call a jump ball. Lucas was hoping the foul will be called. He goes to the floor. Ramsey ties up the ball. And smartly Brad Green grabbed it from above. But the possession arrow goes the way of the Sharks. He just got tied up. Tripped up. Look at Brad Green. Doing what bigs do.
Yeah, go get that ball, but good job. Sheffield managed to hold on, and the possession arrow does go to them.
So if there's another jump ball, possession will go the way of the Bristol Flyers. They've got that going for them. Timeout's not really an issue right now. Sheffield with a 3-point lead, 1:06 to play. The Atiba Lions squad in control of this one right now, but they've got to take care of the ball in this possession. Can't come away with an empty possession. Coutinho gives it right back to Nichols. Nichols will walk it across the midcourt line. Hands it off to Ramsey. And a beautiful bucket there from Jalen Pipkins. They needed that in a big-time way as Surrey holds on to beat Plymouth 71-65. For those of you watching that one on the YouTube channel, we welcome you in here on Sky Sports. We've got a good one with Sheffield and Bristol. They've gone back and forth. Bristol had it down to a 3-point game just moments ago until that big bucket now. 61-56, 46 seconds left. Possession arrow in favor of the Flyers. Brad Green.
They've got to go quick. Need a bucket.
Lucas. There's the guy. Oh, that time maybe just too difficult a shot, and a great job of defense by Jalen Pipkins as Anya getting close enough but not committing a foul.
Yeah, they found the guy and unfortunately, shoots an air ball, but it's the right shot. He's the hot hand. I'm not going to be against that, but here they go, full court press. So Sheffield need to get this ball in safely.
So 37.2 seconds. You said it, they got to get it in safely. And
what are they going to call?
They're going to call.
Yes.
No, he stepped across.
They get the turnover, I told you.
That was huge.
This is when mistakes happen.
Officials will doing a great job on this game tonight. 2 technicals called on the night, one on head coach Atiba Lyons, the other one calling on CJ Jackson. Now the Flyers have to get it in. Smith. Oh, beautiful defense. Shot clock at 5. Got to get it up. And they do. CJ Jackson gets the ball to drop. Was looking for the foul. And he cuts it back to a 3-point lead. 25.5 seconds to play here, Xenia, in Sheffield. All right, draw up a play if you're Atiba Lions.
Well, we need to throw it to...
we're going to talk trophy.
Yeah, big
It's coming up in January. We got some doings in the British Basketball League.
The British Basketball League trophy is back. The stakes are higher. The action is bigger. Here's how it all goes down. All 10 league teams are split into 2 groups of 5. The trophy games are played across 3 weekends in January, where each team plays 4 games within their group, 2 at home and 2 away. The top 2 teams from each group will go into the semi-finals. It all comes down to an epic Final 4 weekend at the Utilita Arena in Birmingham on the 27th and 28th of January 2024, with back-to-back semi-finals played on the Saturday, followed by a double-header with the men's and women's finals played on the Sunday. It's time to find the 2024 trophy champions.
And the good news is Xenia Stewart will be on hand with yours truly in Birmingham. Are you packed yet? Are you excited for that?
No, I'm not packed yet. I'm ready for Christmas break first. I am super excited for that. I think it's going to be an incredible weekend down in Birmingham. But what is going on right now is our fans are on their feet. They're dancing. And it is a super close game here with 25.5 seconds left.
Sheffield sensing an opportunity to get their 10th win of the season, as they have a 3-point lead, 25.5 seconds to play in the ball game. They have the ball, possession arrow going the way of the Flyers. Inbound to Cook. Plenty of time on the shot clock. Prentice Dixon trying to get out of it. Gets taken away, and he's going to be called for the foul. So that stops the clock at 18.6 seconds, and the Flyers get the ball.
Is Sheffield over the limit?
Fouls off. No. Oh, no, they just went over. Thank you very much. So they are now in the bonus.
Let's have a look at this. Good job by Leslie Smith. Just kind of suffocated the ball out. Look at this. Didn't foul. And then the push over. Sold it very well. Gosh, but they got it done. And Sheffield right now, we saw them turn over the ball on the baseline for a possession. And then here they haven't looked after the ball and just kept the door open for Bristol Flyers. Looks stressed. Look at him. Stressed out.
Opportunity to cut this to a 1-point ball game as CJ Jackson steps up, an 85% free throw shooter, buries the first one. Head coach Atiba Lions not liking this scenario. Would love to have walked out of this thing with a double-digit win when they had the 9-point lead, and here he is now sweating it out with a 1-point lead.
Yeah, and he'll call a timeout.
18.6 seconds timeout if you're the Sharks. If you're Atiba Lions, what are you doing?
Oh, man. We've just seen him do a full court up and down. He's sweating. I'm surprised the jacket. We've talked about it all game. But we knew this was going to be a game that's going to come down to the wire. Their previous 3 games have been incredible. They're at Sheffield. They've had a little bit of a run, but they've also broken down in moments. Turnover on the baseline. A turnover there that they thought kind of trapped them and squeezed the ball out. Then the foul. So the last couple of minutes have been in the momentum of Bristol, but Sheffield have the lead by 1.
Is there a hot hand for the Sharks right now? Because I feel like you could go to Ramsey, you could go to Pipkins, you could go to Nichols.
Yeah.
Maybe you surprise everyone and you go inside and you go back to the big man, Bennett Cook.
Yeah, I don't think they have a particular hot hand. I feel like Sheffield's done a wonderful job in their offense, finding the right guy at a certain moment where obviously Bristol do have Jacobs and Jackson. Go ahead.
if you're the Flyers, how long do you let them run clock until you foul?
That's a good question, and this is why I don't like being a coach, because there's so many different options and opinions of when you should foul. I think you try and play tough defense. We saw Bristol not foul and turn over the ball, but here they've obviously chose to move the ball to their court with 14 seconds.
So 14 seconds on the shot clock. Bristol will get it back with no less than 4 seconds. Is that enough time? Here we go. Nixon will inbound it. Ramsey with the ball. One-on-one coverage. Asking for the defensive help, and there's the foul. So they'll send Ramsey. Nope, that takes him to 4 fouls. So not in the bonus just yet. It'll be an inbound one more time. So 12.8 seconds, 8 seconds now on the shot clock. Nixon again will inbound. Got to get it in somehow. And Nichols is fouled right away. So Nichols, not sure that's the guy you want to foul, is an 84% free throw shooter.
Graham Bell lost his man and was wide open. This one's the nail biter. This is going to be an important 2 free throws here, but still, you know, even if he makes both.
Even makes them both, yeah. 61-60, 11.2 seconds. Kipper Nichols at the line shooting the 2. Ooh, misses the first. So if he makes his second one, if you're Bristol, if you're Bristol, go for the knockout punch in a 3, or you can tie it, and we could be looking at overtime.
Yeah, overtime. There we go. That's a different type of overtime that we don't know about, but he's got to hit this one.
And he gets it. 2-point ball game. 11 seconds for the Bristol Flyers to work with. And foul.
No, I think clock.
Oh, they're fixing the clock. Okay. They're going with 8.5 seconds on the clock. So shot clock not an issue for the Flyers. Would you go for 3 or would you go for the tie?
I'm going for 3. So
okay, I like what you're thinking.
But they can go for anything. He's obviously calling it. I think they're going to go for the 2, to be honest. Yeah.
And is there any question in your mind who should take that shot?
I don't know. I think just a good shot, something moving. I don't like when they just dribble, but they've got.
Here we go, final seconds, and the floater and the dunk, and they're going to call a foul.
Was that a pass or was that a foul? They're calling it as a shot.
They're going to call it as a shot. And I don't know if that was RGB
he
or...
He just said that was a pass. Look, I just read his lips.
Right?
It's a pass.
Hit rim, and it was RGB coming in for the potential dunk.
But he's got it, look, because he shoots it.
If that pass is on the mark, that's an easy dunk.
Yeah, that's interesting. Anyway, he's got to make these free throws.
That's the first clutch situation for C.J. Jackson out of Charlotte, North Carolina. 85% free throw shooter. This one to tie it. Gets it. 62 all. 1.6 seconds. You got to get it up. Oh, and just off the glass, Coutinho gave it a good look. So we are headed to overtime in Sheffield.
Well, the last time they played, it was the exact same thing. It was a 2-point game, overtime again, and we were talking about how both of these teams very similar. They're in 5th and 6th in the table. Bristol have their 10th win, and Sheffield looking for their 10th win. So, here we go.
The team of Lions has got to be going, are you kidding me, guys? We have this thing locked up. Why did we not put it away? Credit to the Bristol Flyers. They hung around, and big credit to number 3, Trajan Jacobs. He kept him in this thing.
Yeah, he did very, very well. But I just felt like it was Sheffield. They lost those. I spoke about those 2 possessions that they turned over the ball, and just Bristol were able to capitalize here. I think Coach Lyons draws something simple, gets good looks going to the rim, The game's back to 0-0, you know. Don't overthink it, don't overstress it. But wow, here we go. 5 more extra minutes.
You got to think the momentum's with the Flyers, the way they ended that fourth period. I'm asking you, do you think, I mean, you guys forced it, you were down, you're back in it, you're feeling good. Everyone thought we were on our way to an L, and you into the next 5. Well, we got 5 minutes of overtime. Before we get to that, let's send it back to the Sky Sports studios with Jeanette, Ovi, and D'Lo.
Thank you very much to Todd and Azania. And we are into overtime. That's what I'm going to call it. And I mean, it's deja vu, really, isn't it, Ovi? We are seeing these two teams who battle it out. They are consistent at being inconsistent. But here we are now with a game on our hands, overtime.
The consistent inconsistencies. I mean, 2 of their previous games, you know, were decided by 4 points between them. And then the other game, 10 points. But these guys just can't seem to pull away from each other. They love to play. They love to compete against one another. And they've got us in for a treat on Friday night, a little bit over.
And then that's the thing, you know, D'Lo. Ovi makes a point. They can't pull away from each other. Why can't any of them get a breakthrough that's long enough or impactful enough to be able to push those points on? At one point, it was 9 points. It was a 9-point lead from the Sheffield Sharks.
I think it's just the story of the season. They're one place away from each other in the standings. Every single game that they played has been tight, and it's tightly contested, and they're both physical teams. That's why it's a slugfest, and we get some free basketball now of overtime.
Well, let's see how we go. We're into overtime. Todd and Azania, take it away.
Thank you, Jeanette. I agree with D'Lo. We get free basketball.
Yeah, we do.
5 extra minutes. It's like an extra present under the tree after you think they've all been opened. And here we go. Who's going to take advantage of it? Big opportunity for the Flyers. Leslie Smith thought about it, drives, and went for the dunk. He's going to go to the line. But no hesitation at all what Leslie Smith had intentions of doing.
Well, now that he can shoot the 3, little jab gets Cook off of his feet, takes off. And it's true, it's a foul. He was about to make a poster of Cook.
Smith will go to the line. He will shoot 2, 73% from the free throw line, averaging just over 5 points a game and 5 rebounds. A big contributor off the bench for Coach Kapoulis. This is where you talked about earlier in the game. Free throws are key. Gosh. Credit to C.J. Jackson for burying those 2. That's not easy. End of the game.
That's definitely a lot of pressure.
Did his job.
Sure did.
Smith now to break the deadlock at 62. Misses them both.
Walks off the line. Got to stay at the free throw line. Shoot the ball into the hoop. Don't leave it.
Now the opportunity for the Sharks. Bennett Cook, big time for him to show up. And he did not like the contact that Leslie Smith was applying. Smith picks up the foul. Now,
I like that, sorry, by Cook. Well, Smith had his forearm in, and what he did is swang through. He swinged through, so then the referee, here it is, thank you very much. Look at this. His forearm's there, which is, but he just had it locked in.
And here's the problem. Good news, bad news. Bennett Cook's going to the line. Bad news, just a 56% free throw shooter. I hate to bring those numbers out, but they're the fact. Gets the second one.
It's a full court. Maybe just slow it down. There it is, 30% for the Sharks. 3, 4, 10.
Not good. That's leaving 7 points. Freebies out there. 22 on the drive, the up and under, can't get it to fall. And Cook will come away with it, and the Sharks will take their time in search of their 10th win of the season. They sit at 9-8. As Jeanette pointed out in the studio, they had the lead, just could not protect it and put it away. Cook will go to work once again, this time swings around, and they're going to say last touch by the Flyers. Yeah, probably the right call. Cook now outside. Deep range 3. That was huge. Big. JP time. Jalen Pipkins. With all due respect to Obi time, Pipkins time for the 3.
We haven't seen him in a bit. Huge hit.
So now it's a 4-point lead coming up on 3.5 to play in this overtime period. Stop, pop, does not drop. You see Bennett Cook tell him, settle down, fellas. No need to rush this one. Let's make this one count. This is a huge trip for them now. If they can put this down in 2 or 3 to apply the pressure to the Flyers. Double team coming. Backs off. Trajan Jacob going single one-on-one. Outside shot, head fake, big time. Doesn't fall, stays with the Sharks for a shot clock. They go inside quickly. Jordan Ratinho puts it in off the glass.
Well done, Sharks. Really good job sticking with it. Kapoulas has to call a timeout. Look at this, the tip of Cook passes the ball, puts it a little bit of a bounce pass. Great finish.
Love that San Antonio Spurs ball, making the extra pass. So it's a 6-point lead, 3:05 to play. Bristol's come back from bigger leads before. Really no time to panic, but they need a bucket.
But now the momentum back with Sheffield. We spoke about Bristol maybe having that momentum going into the, the few last moments before that overtime. Now here comes Sheffield with some great plays back to back, and it's this is the wonderful part of basketball.
I want to remind you, coming up next Friday, this will be a good one, Caledonia and the London Lions travel north to take on the Gladiators. That'll be 7:45 right here on Sky Sports. That's next Friday after all your holiday celebrations. Save a little something for us on Friday night as you get ready for New Year's.
And there it is, and Caledonia sitting has moved up to the second place in the table versus London Lions, who are at the tippity top.
Could have a 1 versus 2. All right, here we go. Big opportunity now. Bristol has got to convert here. You figure they don't get a bucket here. Sheffield goes down. They can take it under 2.5 minutes with a 6-point lead. Could go up to 9 if they hit a 3, but matter ahead is Andreas Kapoulas and the Bristol Flyers. They need a bucket any way possible. From the line, from the 3, or a 2.
Yeah. Just want to chip away at the lead. Still 3 minutes and 5, and we saw how quick they can score.
Good awareness there by Jackson, realizing that he could run the baseline. And Lucas will take the bump, as Ramsey did not want to let him turn the corner.
Well, we're starting to see now, because both of these teams are in the bonus. Well, there's Ramsey, where we're talking about a bonus. Thank you, Ramsey. 12 points, 10 rebounds, 5 assists. A wonderful night. Both of these teams are making it difficult. I get the last say to pick the player of the game. Well, I don't look at me like that, because they're both stressing me out. I can't pick one, so just give me 1 more minute. But a really good job now that free throws are going to be crucial in this point.
Lucas, a 69% free throw shooter. We talked about him being back from injury from that hamstring. He's given some good minutes tonight. And that one off the mark, off the front, and it's going to stay with the Flyers. So best case scenario for Bristol on a missed free throw. They'll get an opportunity to immediately go to the bench and bring in big Brad Green, 6'11". Boy, they could cut this to a 2-point game with a 3. Behind the back, little lackadaisical. Trying to get it to Trajan Jacob, who was waiting to fire a 3, and the Sharks take it away. Nichols turns the corner, defense is there, shot clock at 5. Under 2.5 to play in overtime. Ramsey with a wild shot up there, can't get it go. Lucas takes it away. Back come the Flyers. Lucas was looking for a screen from Big Bad Green. Steps up and under. Beautiful job by Tayshaun Lucas. The battle continues. It is now a 3-point Shark lead, coming up on 2 minutes to play in overtime. Ramsey now surveying the defense. All man on man. Bennett Cook with the screen. Jordan Ratinho floats it up there. Cook there, and he gets it to fall.
Gets the bounce. Job by Sheffield now. 5-point game, and they're just going to have to wipe the floor. These Both of these teams working hard. There's extra sweat on them.
Wasn't the prettiest of execution, Azania, but it counts.
No, but what happened is the hard work and working tough. Look at them underneath the bucket.
This has got a double ice bath written all over it.
Yeah, and maybe a double plate for Christmas as well.
70-65 now, 1:40 to play in overtime. Sheffield with the lead. Bristol with the ball. Lucas drives up and under, kicks it back out. Jacob thinking about the three, but closely guarded by Pipkins. Gives it underneath. Oh, Brad Green was wide open. That would have been the easiest two of the night for him, just unable to handle the entry pass.
Wide open. I think was more worried about scoring it. You got to catch it first.
Sheffield now run a little clock. 15 turnovers for the Flyers. That last one was a big one, and the foul called on Lucas.
That's a mistake you don't see from Brad Green often. It's the double-double
There was
machine.
no one around him. I mean, he had the whole paint to himself.
Yeah, because they were so worried about Jacobs shooting the three. He's going to be upset with himself with that, that's for sure. Look at this. Look, 1, 2. He's got 3.
Ratinho just didn't go with him.
No, they're worried about Jacobs.
Rattles that one in. Nice shot by Kipper Nichols. 84% from the line. Nichols on the night. 16 points. Pushing it to a 6-point lead now.
I've got a minute. And I just...
You got to come up with someone. Pressure's on you.
Well, it's been such a great game. Ramsey with 12 points, Pipkins 14, Nichols I was going for. Then timeout, the overtime happened.
Yeah.
And I'm leaning more towards Ramsey, but still, a minute is a long time in basketball.
Oh, just leaves it short. Trajan Jacob got to the rim, and that's going to be tough to come back from. A beautiful lead up in front and in. Put it on the board for Jalen Pipkins.
Beautiful. Ramsey with the steal and the pass.
I like where you're thinking on that player of the game.
Yeah.
I mean, he has been in the midst of defense, offense, assist. Can't go wrong.
Yeah, and an index of 20. So there he is. But fast break point 16 for the Flyers, 9. One of those 9 was just then. Quick layup. You can start to see bodies are starting to get tired now. Ramsey on his knees, hit. Little bump made Jacob shot a bit difficult, and then off to the races.
And it's really a 4-point swing.
Yeah, it has been.
You think if Jacobs gets that bucket, this layup doesn't happen, and it's a 67-72 as the cameraman takes the brunt of that defensive effort. So Pipkins stays in the game, 44.8 seconds to play, 18 seconds on the shot clock. Flyers with the ball. Do they have to get a 3 here, Azania, or can they go with a 2?
Yeah, no, I think get a quick bucket. You can either have a hit a 3 or a quick one and turn around in full court. But I'd say they go for a 3. But look, holding on to...
Yeah, trying to get it to Tajon Jacob, and it was Jalen Pipkins holding up. You know exactly what he said, don't you? No fouls. All that does is stop the clock and put him on the line.
Yeah, sure does. And this is where free throws yet again are so important.
Tajon Lucas finished his college career at Brigham Young University out of Milwaukee, Wisconsin, a 69% free throw shooter. We saw him rattle last 2 in as Bennett Cook will come back on the court. So you bring the big fella in at 6'10".
I think he was short on one, wasn't he?
Lucas?
Yeah, I thought he was a bit tight on one of his free throws, but I can't remember. There's been so much happening in this game. I can't believe we're into overtime. I didn't think it was going to happen like this. Incredible.
Not done yet. That one he did leave short, so 74-66. It stays an 8-point lead for the Sharks. No reason to hurry. And the tie-up and the foul. Lucas will be called for the reach-in.
Foul called on Lucas.
It's that time with 33 seconds left, 16 on the shot clock. A comfortable 8-point, well, let's just say comfortable. Nothing's comfortable in this game, Azania, but the spotlight is on you for player of the game. If I had a drum roll, I'd put it on right now.
I'm going to give it to Ramsey.
Nice call.
Yeah.
So Deverl Ramsey
Yeah.
picking up the honors.
Yeah, he wasn't the highest scoring, but he had the double-double, and I think you need to recognize how tough that is, especially in this game. 12 points, 11 rebounds, and 6 pretty assists for that man right there. And well done him. And, you know, it was, I'll give a little honorable mention to Pipkins, 16 points. He was tremendous today. Also, he had 3 steals. And then Nichols also had 18 points. You know, sometimes you can pick your player of the game, the best scorer, but for me, the all-round guy was Ramsey.
And it brings me back to the point that we talked about in the first quarter with Ramsey and Pipkins. The last time these teams met, they only combined for 14 points, and tonight it's more like, what, 27 points and a double-double for Ramsey plus player of the game, and that'll pretty much wrap things up. Final 20 seconds now with the Sharks in control of this one and a 10-point lead, trying to just get into some open hands and run the clock out. And for the final 10 seconds, no reason to foul now because they have not invented a 10-point shot. So Ramsey will end up with the ball. He'll let it fly just as the clock expires, and that'll do it. The 10-point win goes the way of the Sheffield Sharks. They had to work into overtime to get it, but they get their 10th win of the season as they go to 10-8. The Bristol Flyers on the road, they drop to 10-11. Kind of exactly what we expected.
Yeah, we did. We spoke about it. Everyone spoke about it. I think Obi and the studio crew talked about the consistency in the inconsistent play of both of it. But what we did see was 2 hard teams battle. You know, nobody wanted to lose and went into overtime. An incredible game of up, downs, roundabouts, you know, swings. But at the end of the day, the home court advantage is the biggest one. You always want to get the win at home.
And I think the coaches will agree, maybe even the fans, maybe my colleague, it wasn't the prettiest of wins for the Sharks, but they needed it. They gutted it out. Atiba Lyons and his team were able to get it done. So that sends them on to their next game. Christmas Eve at the Copper Box, taking on the top team in the league, that being the London Lions. So disappointment for the Flyers. They will have off until the 28th to think about this one and try to get themselves back above 500 as they drop now to 10-11.
Yeah, it's a really crucial moment. We spoke about the toughness of Christmas coming up and not having a family, and maybe, you know, Brad Green said his family are coming, there he is, and just in the middle there, his family are going to come over from California. But yeah, a great win. Way to dig it out. Sometimes games aren't pretty. Sometimes, and there's Mike Tuck saying, hey, you know, well done, because it's hard to dig out wins, especially when you lose the last time you play each other.
I think Coach Lyons said, did you guys really have to tee me up? Did you really have to tee me up this close to Christmas? 10-point win as the Sharks get the win over the Flyers. We sit it down to Drew Lasker, who's with the player of the game, Deverl Ramsey.
Thanks, Todd. Deverl, you could have felt like you'd thrown this game away at the end of regulation. So how were you able to compose yourself, regain control of this game in overtime?
You know, we just have to fight. Last time we had them in overtime, obviously it didn't go our way. So, you know, this time we wanted to get it. You know, our home court, our home fans helped us out too. But, you know, we knew we had to take care of business. And an extra 5 minutes just means, you know, extra 5 minutes for us to make sure we're doing what we're doing.
And you're 6 feet tall, 11 rebounds, dang near triple-double. Talk about the impact your brother has had on you to be successful at this level.
Yeah, I mean, he just told me always to stay aggressive, just be a dog, you know, hide over heart. Just have heart, play aggressive, and just, you know, let things happen. I didn't even know I had that. You know what I mean? I'm just playing hard, and, you know, my teammates helped me out, and just trying to play, trying to win.
And a dog you were. Congratulations. Enjoy that Christmas gift.
Thank you. Merry Christmas.
Back to you, guys.
Thank you very much to Drew, and of course, as always, to Todd and to Azania. We'll look at those stats. Who would have thought it would have been a 10-point game? Ovi Soko alongside me against D-Lo. Anything jumping out at you from those stats there, Ovi?
I mean, incredibly low percentages shot from the field from both teams. But I feel like it just showed the intensity on the defensive end of the ball, you know. These guys, they pounded away all game long, and Sheffield's defense enabled them to come away with a win.
Absolutely. Let's have a look at what happened then. If we have a look at this game, there was a big burst from Sheffield in the third. They took it to 9 points at one point, but just like half-time, 4 points between them at the end of the third, 46-42. But Sheffield, that burst giving them the momentum. Both teams scrapping to try and get the edge, but tactically unable to break through for long enough to make a difference with the scoring. In the last 5 minutes of the fourth, a sweet bucket from Ramsey, bringing that momentum back to the Sharks. However, leaving Trajan Jacobs open is not an option. A low-scoring game, but for Trajan Jacobs, 23 points. And that helped bring the game into overtime again. And that's where the Sharks put it to bed. And there you have it. What do you think about the fact that the Sheffield Sharks were able to do that? That was the fourth regular game of the season for them against excuse me, again. I've lost my train of thought, but with the Sheffield Sharks, for them to be able to put that to bed, it was important, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was tough. I mean, Bristol, they did a great job of hanging around. You know, they had some guys that had some huge performances for them. But we spoke on it earlier on, you know, we said that they hang their hat on defense, and that's what they used to pull out this win. The offense has still got a bit of ways to go, but that's bound to happen with the lineup changing as much as it has. But, you know, great job for those guys to be able to get the win.
It was indeed. It was indeed. So we can find out now what the head coach of the Sheffield Sharks thinks. Tiba Lions, he's with Drew Lasker.
Coach, it wasn't pretty. It wasn't an offensive masterpiece, but tell us why that #1 defense has been important for you this season.
Yeah, I think that showed the resilience in overtime. I think it could have been easy, kind of really dropped ahead if we had to rely just only on scoring. We came back in overtime and played really strong defensively. They made a great push. I mean, Bristol's just fantastic. If you don't close them out properly, they're going to make you pay. They did it to us at their place. They've done it in Europe. They're a strong side, and you know, you got to give them a lot of credit.
And this series has been wild. It's 2-2, which might be important down the line. Just sum up this Bristol Flyers Sheffield Sharks matchup this season.
I think it's a matchup of similar styles. I think the way they play, slightly more different schemes as far as defense, but they're physical. They get after you. They pick up and pressure the ball. And offensively, you know, when they click in all cylinders, it's a very, very tough team. So I think it's a matchup of styles that are very similar.
And I'm sure you're thrilled with that win. Just before Christmas, tell us, what's the Christmas gift in the bag for Coach that you're giving the players?
Oh, we got to come back to practice in the morning and watch film. That's the Christmas gift. Right back to work, man. There's no time for holidays right now. We got to get it done.
That's where you hear it, guys. There's more important things on Coach Atiba's mind. Congratulations, Coach.
Thanks a lot.
Back to you guys.
Fabulous. Coach Atiba is not pulling any punches there. He is saying they are back, D-Lo. They're back into training. But this is it. That's how the regular season goes. There's no time for rest. There's no time for a break. You've got to stay on top of things.
No, but you definitely need to keep a calm head. Yeah. You got to win. You move on. I think Coach will probably want them to practice their free throws tomorrow.
Yeah.
But they're ready to go.
Because that was a really low percentage from the Sheffield Sharks when it came down to free throws. But let's talk about the player of the game, Devell Ramsey. I mean, he had a really quiet first half, let's be honest. And we said he needed to pick it up. And he did exactly that.
No, he did, you know, and that's what good players do. We said that the rest of his teammates, they depend on him. They depend on Pipkins to sort of create opportunities for them. But Devell, he especially stepped up today. He done an incredible job getting into the lane, getting into the paint, and creating for his teammates and having a big-time game.
Yeah. And what was it in particular for you about Ramsey that you liked watching today, D'Lo?
I just loved how aggressive and composed he was. He read the defense. He took really what they were given. A lot of times he was coming off the screens, waiting for a rescreen, and he was in a Christmas mood. He was giving assists, and they needed everything from him today, playing with the triple-double.
And a game like that, where it's low scoring and you can see clearly, Obi, that both teams are frustrated, what is it they need to be able to do to get the edge over the other?
I feel like D'Lo just said it, you know, keeping their head, keeping composure, and trusting that, you know, the game plan in place, it will help them sooner or later. You know, they will be able to create separation sooner or later. And this was a game where they had to stick with it all the way to the end. Here you see you know, some of the big plays down the end that Devell was able to create, but it helped them come away with a win.
And that was the main thing as well. So well done to the Sheffield Sharks taking that win over the Bristol Flyers. But of course, it's a game week here at the British Basketball League. Let's see what we've got coming up for you. Of course, today the Surrey Scorchers against the Plymouth City Patriots. That was the other Friday night game. 71-65, and the Sheffield Sharks in overtime beating the Bristol Flyers by 10, 76-66. Then we head into tomorrow, Saturday, Manchester Giants Giants against the Leicester Riders at 5 o'clock, and the Plymouth City Patriots take on the Caledonia Gladiators. That's from one end of the country to the other. That's on our YouTube channel from 8 o'clock. And then on Sunday, Christmas Eve, the London Lions take on the Sheffield Sharks at 1 o'clock. And we can see how those results have affected the table. Sheffield Sharks, Bristol Flyers, 4th and 5th. You can see that both of them 1-10, and then, of course, Sheffield Sharks 8 lost, but for Bristol Flyers, that goes on their record. That's 11 lost. 4th and 5th, though, as they go into Christmas. So a massive thank you, as always, to you, D'Lo, and to you, Ovi. Wish you a very Merry Christmas. And to you watching at home and wherever you are across the world watching us here at the British Basketball League, happy holidays, and we'll see you on the other side.